thing here. 100% infill. Huge thing here. This is also on island. I mean, can you even see it 3D printed? Oh no, even play around. It's very nice. So we are in the lab. 40mm tube. Whoa. Be mine. All our different materials. How do you guys like this? I think we are live. Sorry. I always forget. I always forget. Removed. How is everyone? Sorry, I just arrived. I always start the starting soon and the intro, but I'm still not there. So I just arrived. I just need to make the announcement. Yeah, I had a couple of calls this morning. I had a call with Sean, actually, the 3D Print General as well. It was great to catch up with him. So let me make the announcement. Printbuster on Discord. Okay, hi, awesome people. We are live on Twitch and YouTube for another episode of Printbuster. Topic of today: technical data shit. Okay, there you go. And on Twitter, let me do that on Twitter. Let me remove. I assume I don't need this. And let me put this on Twitter. Let me tweet. Hi, awesome people. Oh, it doesn't copy paste the emoji properly. There you go. We are live on Twitch and YouTube for another episode of Printbuster. Topic of today: technical data shit. Okay, perfect. Awesome. You should have received notification on Discord and one tweet. I mean, no notification for the tweet, but one tweet. And then I assume I don't need this. I'm cleaning up my desktop before I start sharing everything. Okay, there you go. And I will keep this just in case you need some information about the new product. Okay, we're good. How's it, Ulo? The lighting, is that okay to have the sun like this? Or does that look strange? Or is that okay for you? How is everyone? Non-fam, how are you? Jack from YouTube, hello. NSTO, Buddha, I just sent you an email for a giveaway, I think. K2 Kevin as well. I think I sent a couple of giveaway yesterday. Peslis, how are you? Peslis, have you used the Canada website? Is that working properly? I think I saw an order from you, but I'm not too sure. But just making sure, was it smooth? Everything okay? Have you started receiving some product? I don't know how fast the FBA is in Canada compared to the US. I assume similar speed. Hi, Zombie. Let me know if you want to join, Zombie, as always. Key for Sack, how are you? I haven't seen sun in weeks. Well, we have a lot of sun here. Look at this. Printed Vision, thank you for being awesome. I got my first Canadian order today. Oh, perfect. Okay, great. So it is relatively fast, right? Like how many days? Like 2 or 3 days did it take? Hi, Just Make a. You need a 5-minute intro. Yeah, I need a longer intro. Actually, I need to update the intro because I want to update the intro. I want to have something else. I mean, I like it, but maybe a quick update. Like all the background has changed, but maybe I will do the update once I will arrive in the US and I will have the new studio. Maybe I will update the intro at that time. We only talk when you need help picking colors. Edge of CD. This store notification. Okay, perfect. Theoretically, it's only notifying people that are online because I don't want to notify people that are offline, and when they are online, then the stream is finished. So yeah, I'm glowing. I'm a glow-in-the-dark brown, I guess, chocolate. I'm intergalactic chocolate glow-in-the-dark. I'm curious about what contest in which one might think technical datasheet are used. I use them constantly with mechanical and electronic components. Did you like my title? I usually don't put this type of title, but I was thinking, how about I try to put a title that are a bit more attractive, so to see if that brings a little bit more people. So I just wanted to try. How do you call that? Clickbait. Clickbait. I tried a clickbait, which means I think it means you say something that I don't even know what's the definition, but basically a title that makes people click, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna exactly talk about this. Why in theory, why technical datasheets are useless in the 3D printing industry. In theory, right? I mean, obviously it's a clickbait, but in theory. I'm printing with the purple gold Sovereign now. Yeah, Sovereign may not be my favorite color, but close. Beluga is still my favorite color, Peslis. Didn't see your order, Peslis. Told you should have ordered double. I think I saw her order, but I was not too sure because I saw a couple of them. Just wanted to make sure that it's working well, because I think Peslis was the first. I think it was the very first order on our Canada website. I mean, the new Canada website. Vasiency, how are you? Keep the 100% if you update the new studio, most definitely. Snow? You have snow, Kevin? How can... It's March, right? There's no snow in March, right? Well, I did see snow in the latest Loyal live stream, so I guess yeah, there is snow. Thank you for being awesome, GK Tech 3D. Let me write your title. You don't like my title? I think my title is great. This piece of data is actually useless, or is it? Oh, okay, yeah, maybe you're better at making title than me. I think it'd be 100% fair to say they can be useless when they are incorrect, which absolutely does happen. Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about, fault detected. Like, how do you define what's correct, what's incorrect in a TDS? So it's specifically for 3D printing. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. Hi, Incendium, thank you for joining. Zombie, I have an Ender 3. How do I level my bed? Sorry, you messed up my brain, Zombie. Incendium, snowing here too. Okay, so it is snowing. March is definitely a snow month in Michigan. Okay. I'm gonna move in Houston. Is there snow in Houston? Because it's been a long time I haven't seen snow, actually. It doesn't snow in Shanghai. Like maybe once every year, a little bit of snow, but that's it. But in Houston, I haven't checked the... I know I will arrive in July, which apparently it's the temperature peak, which means the highest month in terms of temperature, the hottest month. But I don't know if is there... Let me ask Google. Is there snow in Houston? Let's check. Sorry. Is there snow in Houston? Does Houston have snow? Snow is a relatively rare occurrence in Houston, Texas area. Oh, okay. So maybe not that much then. Then it's good. Houston is a super snowy state. Oh, is it, or it's no? No snow in Houston. Okay. I hate snow. Well, I hate snow when it's coming where I live, but I like snow when I go to see snow, if I want to go skiing or this type of thing, then yeah. But I don't want snow to be around where I live. Extremely rare to get snow in Houston. Okay. Oh, Chicago, you have snow. Rapid Show is going to be in Chicago in May, in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of May. There shouldn't be any snow during that time, right? 2 feet of snow on my car. Oh, yeah, but I mean, the US is a very big country, right? So I guess even from a climate perspective, I guess they have different, depending on where you are in the US, is completely different. That's my guess. Okay, so let's go straight into the topic. Today we're going to talk about, I'm just making sure, did I do everything correct? Yeah, okay. So let me pull out a TDS and let's talk about TDS. And I will also pull out my PPT because I think we're going to have a lot of PPT time today. How many of you, except fraud detected, right, that already mentioned that, but are using TDS, like using for an actual use? If so, how do you exactly use the TDS? If you use the TDS, is there any of you that actually use TDS? So let's go Polylight PLA, and let's go check out the TDS. TDS. Is there anyone that actually use TDS, right? Before we start talking whether they are useful or useless, like do you actually need it? Do you actually use it? And in that case, hopefully I'm not the only one. Well, let's see, because I mean, yeah, out of all the people in the 3D printing community, or let's say out of all the people that are using 3D printers, how many percent do you think are using the TDS, are actually looking at the TDS? 50%, 10%, 1%, 0.1%? Like what's your guess? I don't have the data, right? But I have a guess, but I don't have the data. Okay, yeah, 0.5%, less than 2%. Okay, so we do agree that already from the perspective on people that are actually using it, then there's pretty much no one, right? I mean, not many people are actually using TDS, right? So from that perspective already, not that it's useless, but it's let's say if we had to put resources somewhere, then it seems that the market would prefer that we put resources on something else than TDS, except for the 1% of the market that would really need that TDS, right? Over the past months, we have snow, ice storm in the US that shut down half the country while the other half is having a heat wave. I mean, it's not funny, but yeah, I mean, that shows how big the US is, right? China has the same thing, right? Depending on whether I go on the east or on the west, is a completely different climate. Okay, so let me see. Is there anyone that actually used the TDS? I mainly use it for the density, which should be on the main page. Yeah, density. Okay, here, density. What do you use the density for, Zombie? What are use cases of people wanting to know the density? Would it be, let me think. Let me try to think by myself a use case. Like to know how much filament you have left, like to complete your print. Okay, yeah, maybe that's useful. Is that how you use it? 3D Medic Vince, how are you? Thank you for joining. Electronic component once, yes, me. What do you mean FDAF patch? How do you use the TDS? Thank you for being awesome, Darren. Very low, yes. Printer materials, just sometimes. I read the specs sheets. Yeah. So if you use it, like for example, Darren, if you use it, like what do you use it for? Like what do you check, and how did that help you? Like you see, okay, yeah, I use the TDS. I check the tensor strength. Okay, and then what? 46.6. Okay, then what? Like how is that useful to know that the tensor strength of Polylight PLA is 46.6? How is that useful? Okay, DMAT is the lowest one. DMAT said there's 0.1% of people having a 3D printer that actually use TDS. So we do agree that there's a very minor amount of people that even look at the TDS. For filament, I can get what I need mostly from the main page. It is for the things like PLA Plus, where I need to look closer to try to guess roughly what they did to it to get the altered properties, so I can adjust how to use it, how I use it. Can you, fault detected, can you give a precise example? Like, for example, you checked the TDS of a PLA Plus. I mean, when I say TDS, it doesn't mean like the actual TDS, but at least a a certain property of the material that you have checked, and what did you do? Did you compare with another one, and that made you make the decision that you should use this one? Or like, and what I'm looking for is an actual user story that would make the TDS or material property useful. Okay, I'm not talking about printing setting. Let's put printing setting on the side. I'm talking about intrinsic material property, right? Like melt index, Young's modulus, tensor strength, elongation at break, blah, 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 blah. So I'm looking for a user story that would make, are you sure? Can you confirm that the sun on my face is okay for you? Because it gives a very big contrast on the video. It's very light and very dark, like very dark, very bright. So yeah, let me know. Then I just close the curtain and we'll just use my TikTok lamp. Yeah, I'm actually looking for an actual user story. I grabbed the density and temperature number for Slicer when I first tried Polymaker and have not looked back to it. Okay, so density, the user story is you put the density in the slicer, and then the slicer will be able to calculate the estimated weight that you would need for the print so that you can know whether you have enough filament. Okay, so density, we have a good user story. Okay, so density is useful for that particular case. Temperature number for slicer. Okay, temperature, I think you were talking about printing temperature, but we said we put the printing setting a little bit aside for now. Density for the slicer. Okay, so density is used to calculate filament use on the slicer. Okay, so density, no problem, very good user story. And in that perspective, then I agree with Zombie. If that's the only property that have a good user story, use case, then it should be more visible, right? Not on the TDS, but as something, even maybe if that's really the only one, it could be on the sticker. Why not? Which is what Zombie wanted. The density is used to calculate the weight of the model, how much filament was used. Yeah, so every new filament, I need to open the TDS. Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if at the end of the day, today, we end up saying that density is the only property that have an actual use case, then yeah, we will definitely put the density on the sticker. NSGO to see whether the benchy can float. Yeah, that could be, but I'm pretty sure there's much more than the density of the filament. Also, to estimate cost of the print, yeah, I compare the glass transition temperature. Okay, so we have a second use case. So let me write down all of these use cases. So we have density, and density to estimate. So it would be for the slicer to estimate the amount of materials needed for a print. Okay. And then you compare the glass transition temperature. So for what case? Why would you compare the glass transition temperature? What's the user story? Like, okay, the glass transition temperature of this filament is 60, this filament is 80. Then what? What would be the following? Polymaker TDS are some of my favorite out there. Love all the axis-specific data and graph. Yeah, I mean, Ben Tracy, we do have, I also believe we have great TDS and also the Power BI where you can see it. By the way, maybe we should pull that up. Also the Power BI, but the idea is that useful? Or, I mean, maybe it is useful from a marketing point of view, right? To have a lot of data and you can compare the data together, blah, blah. Maybe it's cool, right? So there might be value from a marketing perspective, but I'm looking really from a user perspective, like how useful, like the actual use of it. Recommended setting for direct drive were good. That's the most helpful. Yeah, okay, so okay. So again, printing setting for now, we just put it a little bit aside because I think it's another specific topic, how useful they are. Printing PLA don't really need much info. I always look at them. Okay, so Kevin, why would you look at them? What is interesting in a TDS? I checked the recommended print setting. Okay, drying setting. Yeah, same. Printing setting, drying setting. We put it a little bit aside for now. I do compare tensor strength and elongation, etc., to compare filament and compare it to a known filament I have personally tested to try to choose one with the right properties for a specific model. Okay, so do you have an example of that? Like, for example, you were doing an RC car model, and like, let me give you an example of a use case that could be interesting. I am designing an RC car model, and I have a part that is used for the wheels, and the part I'm currently printing in is too flexible. And I go to look the TDS, and the Young's modulus of that part is this amount. So I need to find another material that has a higher Young modulus. Is there anyone on the planet that has done that, right? That has done this thinking process? Okay, it's too flexible, so that is related to the Young's modulus and the bending strength. I could modify the structure, the geometry to modify the stiffness, but I cannot play on the geometry, so I need the intrinsic material properties to be more rigid, which is related to the Young's modulus. So I'm going to check the TDS, the Young's modulus of this one, and find a Young's modulus that would be approximately 2 times higher, which would be the actual rigidity that I want. Is there anyone on the planet that do this? Except the 0.1%. I use it for or would you just make the part more rigid? Because stiffness is not intrinsic to the material, right? The stiffness is like the stiffness of a structure, right? So if you add the triangle, for example, then it's more stiff. It's the same material, but it's stiffer because the geometry is different. I use it for different properties, mostly mechanical and plus thermal, to compare material between them to obtain the best properties for what I do. Okay, so, but I need more precision. I need more precision because people are going to look at something and they think is related to their application, but in reality is not. And that's what I want to talk about today. Some people do some stuff that they think it should have impact strength, and then they just go on the TDS and look for the highest impact strength, and they define that product as good. But if you look into it, the impact strength was not important. The elongation at break was what's important. So that's why I'm looking for precise user case so that we can dissect whether it is used in a good way or not. Because even if you're using it, are you using it properly, right? Are you looking at the right data? Do you really know your application requires this Young's modulus or this tensor strength or this sharp impact strength? Okay, that's what I want to talk about today. I also check density to see which material I can get the most length. Yeah, density, okay, that's recorded. I use the TDS to find the best material to print a print frame out of. So what do you use? We need precision. Oh, sorry, oh my God, I'm so late in the chat. Okay, so yeah, I just skipped a little bit the chat to now. So if you don't mind copy pasting, if you had an actual user story, like with details. Darren, I was comparing the glass transition because the part needed to stay rigid under heat. Yeah, so why do you check the glass transition temperature? Why not the HDT, which is the definition of staying, of having a high bending strength, or let's say not deflecting under heat? The glass transition temperature will not help for that. Otherwise, you would have chosen copy A, because copy A has a. Sorry. Otherwise, you would not have used any nylon. That could have been good because the glass transition temperature is very low, but the HDT is very high. So you see, Darren, maybe in that situation, I wouldn't have chosen the glass transition temperature. I would have chosen the HDT, which is exactly heat deflection temperature, because you said because the part needed to stay rigid under heat. So that's exactly HDT and not glass transition temperature. So you see, that's exactly what I wanted to do today. I want to go into detail on how you guys use the TDS. Is that used in a proper way? And we're gonna define why I'm saying it's a little bit useless, but again, it's a big word. For detected, I did that with TPU for my phone cases, and for bumpers, I created for my laptop and other device, as well as with PLA for an RC transmitter, some hooks for a pegboard, a part from a printer, mount extruder, and for the case of my keyboard. The filament I had were not exactly what I was after, so I found filament that were closer to what I needed until I knew exactly what number I was after. A lot of trials and error because I couldn't properly measure them myself, okay? Yes, you need to know what properties matter for exactly what you're making. Yes, and that's usually the challenge. That's usually the challenge. People have difficulties to define what are the properties they are looking for. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Like you are in front of the TDS, what are you looking at? You know, what do you need actually? Yes, you compare filament, but is the point taking always the biggest number? Right? Is that the point, the biggest number? I look at glass resistant temperature to see if the material could handle being a coffee coaster. Yeah, again, maybe glass resistant temperature might not be the best. Let me think. Maybe the VCAT softening temperature should be the best for that. SSSSSSSS 27. 27. Maybe VCAT softening temperature might be better for that. Darren Robinet, not an engineer, I'm a machinist, so I could be looking at the wrong data. It could be. It could be. The good thing is, what you can try to do, Darren, is to correlate, right? Like you are using this and it's not working. You are using that and it's working better. And when you compare the TDS, that has a higher this. So you may start to do a correlation that, okay, it looks like the more it has this, and the more it's useful for my application. So you can start to do correlation, right? Elongation didn't help for hooks, but did matter for the keyboard and transmitter case. I needed impact strengths. I needed them to elongate and deform rather than snap. Yeah. So like the toughness, the the tensile toughness of the material. Like for example, Polymax PLA could have been a good one. Buddha, honestly, I'm probably not using the TDS correctly. TLDR TPU is the best material. You have watched the 3D printing professor video, right? I always look at HDT. Yeah, so again, depending on the application, HDT might be better, glass resistant temperature might be better, or VCAT softening temperature might be better. I think what you're asking is why don't we know how to read this property better? So the question here is, will you make a video that details how to choose the right filament using the TDS? I think what you're asking is why don't we know how to read these properties better? No, that's not really what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, I'm trying to figure out why so many people are asking for TDS. That's my question. Like, why so many people need TDS? That's my actual question. Like for example, out of the 40 people here that are watching, we only talked about like density as an actual use case, right? And then a little bit of glass resistant temperature. I mean, in the TDS, there's literally like 20 different properties. And every time people will say, hey, where is your TDS? Where is your TDS? Why you don't have TDS for that? Why you don't have TDS for that? So I want to understand, why do you need the TDS? What are you going to use it for? And then the second part of your message is, the question here is, will you make a video that details how to choose the right filament using the TDS? Well, first I need to understand, is that useful for you, right? For me, it's useful to compare filament with each other in a certain way, because the way we test properties in 3D printing is so chaotic that even comparing makes theoretically nonsense. Comparing the tensile strengths of Polylight PLA with Polymax PLA, is that even comparable? Like Polylight PLA, you print at 230. Polymax PLA, you print at 220. Can you compare them if they are not printed at the same temperature? Or do you need to print at the same temperature so that it can be compared? But how about polycarbonate? If we print it at 220 polycarbonate, then it will have very weak layer adhesion. Does that mean it's weaker than polylite PLA, or do you need to print it at the temperature it needs to be printed? But then what's the temperature that it needs to be printed? How do you define that? Do you define that according to the melt index? But how do you calculate the melt index? You see where it's that going? And all of this makes, and that's where the title come from. The title come from the fact that it's impossible in theory to actually compare TDS with each other, which is what people are using it for. They are using TDS to compare properties with each other. But in theory, there's no point to compare them. Again, this is in theory. In practical, there is use for the data, of course, right? In practical, you can make a bunch of compromise, and that would still end up with a result that is more or less useful. But if you don't have that understanding of, the theory behind the TDS, I'm just afraid that, you're taking the TDS and making wrong information. So I want to understand how people use the TDS. Why do they need the TDS? And then we can elaborate a little bit more. So I guess that's the point of the video. I was looking whether polylite PC is a better material for printed parts than ABS and ASA. So again, comparison. Matt 3DPS, TDS lets us see how PC ABS and Polymax PC compare. So again, we're talking about comparison. Just using a description, how can we get a sense of how different they are? Without data, we only have descriptive words. With anything, the issue is not the data being useless. The issue is that 3D printing includes home users and engineers. Some folk don't know how to read it, others do. I don't know, Matt, if like out of the 1% that are actually reading a TDS, how many percent of that percent actually know how to use that TDS that they are checking? Like, for example, tensor strength. Let's go tensor strength. Tensor strength. Okay, this is tensor strength of all our different PLA. Okay, they have been tested. Like, how do you know you can compare them from that point? Like, if they are printed in different printers, can you still compare them? If they are printing one after the other and then the nozzle has not been changed, can you compare them, etc., etc.? And which temperature should they be compared to? What was the room temperature? What was the moisture content of each filament when it was tested? So if we are really going to comparison point, we have to define what is negligible, what is not negligible. And you see how difficult it is. So there is so many compromise, and that's the limitation of my title, is that in theory, yes, it's useless because theoretically you cannot compare them. That's the limitation of my title, because in a way we just make so many compromise, and at the end we just figure out, okay, that's more or less representative of the difference between the filament, right? So for example, let's take polylite PLA, Polymax PLA, and Polymax PC. Okay, Sharpie impact strength. How can Polymax PLA be so much more impact resistant than Polymax PC? It was tested on the same printer, but there was a difference on whether or not we checked the weight and whether there was some slight under extrusion. So Polymax PLA was from a new way of testing that take even more factors into account. Polymax PC was from an old testing that takes a little bit less factor into account, that was considered as negligible, but doesn't seem to be that negligible, right? Because I do believe that Polymax PC would have, if printed under the right condition, would be more impact resistance than Polymax PLA. So can you start to understand the big limitation behind TDS? Sorry, I'm running late again with the chat. So please, by the way, please feel free to copy paste your question if I miss it. It doesn't matter if there's many times the same question. It's just that I have difficulties to keep up with the chat. Fault detected. So is the issue here comparing filament between manufacturers or from one manufacturer? Even from one manufacturer. Between manufacturers, then that's even more problem, right? But it's the same problem. So whether it's within manufacturer or whether it's with other manufacturer, it's the same problem. the same factors apply. Because it from different, I view them as less comparable because everyone tests differently, but within a single manufacturer, the testing should be reasonably consistent. That's exactly the question for detective. What is considered as reasonably consistent? Like, how do you define that? And that's the part that we need to figure out. I mean, I'm not asking for an answer, right? That's our job. But that's the thing that's the challenge behind the TDS. Now, where do you stop perfection? Where do you stop updating your, when do you stop updating your method to add more factor? Like literally you end up with, you buy a new printer before printing any material so that everything is new. But then you have the tolerance issue from one printer to another printer. So you keep the same and you just change the nozzle every time. But the heater needs to also be changed because it will be worn out, blah, 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 blah. Like at which stage do we stop? Polymax PLA, there's Polymax PCs because you have two different testing. Yeah, that's what I just mentioned. There's less difference, blah, blah, blah. But that's the same, right? I think with the new data, I think Polymax PC is higher. The test room is supposed to be temperature, humidity control, so result from one lab to the another is supposed to be consistent. Yeah, so that's for the environment, but how about the polymer itself, right? Do we need to dry them all the time? And that's another thing. If we test everything perfectly, like to the perfection, is that really representative of how the material will perform for you? Because you may not have that perfection. You may not have the polymer that has been completely dry to below 0.1% humidity. You may not have the printer that has been properly calibrated. You may not have a brand new nozzle. How is that going to perform at that time? You get what I mean? So I'm really talking about limitation of TDS. I think that has to be understood. You could always show a range over a variety of print conditions. The variance itself is information about how picky the material is. Yeah, but that would be along only one axis, right? Which is temperature. How about speed, retraction, the bed temperature, the environment temperature, the extruder power, the nozzle design, whether you're using a brass nozzle or a hardened nozzle. You know, if we have to do variance with the hundreds of axes, then I mean, now it's impossible, right? From a resources point of view. The answer is 42. Yeah, everything is 42 megapascal. VASCNC, are there any ISO standards specific for 3D printing, or is it more specific to sample dimension and testing procedure? Great question, VASCNC. As of today, there is no standard for 3D printing sample. And that's very, very important to understand. As of today, there is no ISO. There is none. There's nothing standard about testing 3D printing material. There is ISO standard for injection molding parts, right? Like the shape and how do you make it, etc. But 3D printing, there is none. Like the infill could be that direction, 100% infill, not 100% infill. XY axis, printing on a core XY, printing on a delta, printing in a cold room, printing in a hot room. There is no standard for that. The only standard is the standard that we impose ourselves. Buddha, some people might need the TDS. They sell a print in a place that requires you to have the material information. Some people might need the TDS. They sell a print in a place that requires you to have material information. I think you're talking about the SDS, Buddha. That would be material safety. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the SDS. That is required, the SDS. And the SDS, I mean, is intrinsic to the material. There is no, it's not like the TDS. Very, very, very different. Thank you for being awesome. Spoken true, Sebastian. I would test the filament, how it comes off the line. But that's the same, Major Kim. The filament, when it comes out of our industrial extruder, whether it comes out in summer, whether it comes out in winter, will have different properties. That's why we have some post-process. So, I mean, the goal, I believe the goal is not to look for perfection, because that's literally impossible, but it's to have a good understanding on how the factors influence the properties. For example, just recently, CNC Kitchen, Stefan just released a video about the different colors that would affect the properties. I mean, until then, everyone was using the TDS thinking that it would be the same for every color. And now, you see, now how do we do? Do we need to release a TDS per color? Do we need to release a TDS per color, per printing temperature, etc., etc.? So you see, like, how is the TDS useful at this point? How is the TDS useful? I think testing brand new, best case is fair. We won't get exactly that, but as long as that is specified in the TDS, that is reasonable. If Polymax PC is higher with the new testing method, is your example of Polymax PLA being higher than PC in this chart relevant? Yeah, it is relevant, Matt, because the idea is, depending on what factors you take into account, the data are going to be different. So in one case, we didn't care about whether there were some slight under extrusion or not that you couldn't see by eye. But in the other case, we care. And whether we care or we don't care, the data are completely different. So this testing, the old and the new one, they are the same testing if you don't consider the under extrusion factor. But now that we take in account that factor, then the data are different. So depending on the amount of factors you add in, the data is going to be different. Even for injection molding, the TDS doesn't necessarily apply 100%. Like, we have to pay a lot of attention to the coefficient of thermal expansion, but the data sheet only applies to large block of material. Surface effect can be ignored. For the small parts we mold, we have to actually measure parts with the right wall thicknesses. Yes, you should set the standard. I mean, that's Darren, believe me, we are working very, very hard on trying to define a way to define the properties of a material in 3D printing. And we're working really hard on that. And that's why I'm talking about this, because we had some talk with R&D and product team. And I just wanted to bring that topic also to you guys to see what do you think? Like, how do you see the TDS now? Do you see all the struggle behind the TDS, or do you just see it as an actual value that comes from a manufacturer, so it's 100% true, and it's like this? Like, I just want to show you a little bit of the behind the scene, the TDS. It's all based on injection ISO procedure, but not exactly defined for 3D printing. Yes, exactly. For detecting, you know what? I say testing it on a bone stock Prusa with its stock configuration across the board, since it has decent out-of-the-box setting with a nozzle that has been purged, and a new nozzle would make for a decent baseline. That's the thing for detected. How do we know that? How do we know it's decent? And the filament dried beforehand. Again, I understand what you're saying, and that's also what we thought, right? What you just say, we did that, right? We wanted to have a very reliable printer, and then we wanted to put everything. But the more we dive into it, and the more we have issues. For example, you're talking about drying the filament beforehand. For how long do you dry it? At what temperature do you dry it? How do you define whether it's dry or not? And then Prusa stock configuration. What is the stock configuration? The stock configuration in 2015, 2016, 17, 18, 20, which stock configuration are we talking about? If you define it in 2019, in 2 years from now, do we still need to do that, or do we need to follow the evolution of what printer can do, etc., etc.? Matt, I understand what you mean. The question is, how pedantic do we need to be if we set TDS? Well, I would just need to know what pedantic means. I guess how accurate? Pedantic. Many of these essays are long, dense, or like a pedant, too pedantic to hold a great appeal. Okay, I kind of understand. Yes, I have black Terra Polyterra from you guys, and it's absolutely amazing. I bought a spool of gray, and it's wavy, tangled, and isn't as strong, and does not print with a nice of a surface finish. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. For detected. I mean, it could also be, if it's tangled, it could also be a batch issue. It's not impossible. Vaciency, maybe the best route is to bypass the 3D the printing procedure itself and develop standard for testing the filament itself. Vaciency, that's hard also. Vaciency, let me show you an example. Let's check the VCAT of. Okay, can you see that Vaciency? Why is Polylite PLA VCAT softening temperature so high, 160 degrees C, rather than all the other PLAs at 60 degrees? Because this was tested on the filament. This was tested on the printed part. So you see the issue? Whether you test on the filament or the printed part is completely different. And what people need is the printed part properties. They don't really care about the filament properties. So that's another limitation of Vaciency. What I thought you were about to say, which could also be an idea, is we don't 3D print. We injection mold all the part, and we follow the actual standard from the injection molding industry. And maybe we can arrive to a point that is fairly comparable, right? So we just follow the injection molding. And we have some additional data that are not injection molding. I mean, at the end of the day, what would be the limitation of injection molding all our testing specimen? Like, why people don't like injection molding TDS, for example? They say because it doesn't represent the reality, right? But what does? If you use the TDS for the absolute number, who on the planet know what absolute number do they need? Nobody, right? The only thing we know how to do is to compare. So maybe we could be closer to something usable by using injection molding. And then you can actually compare. Now the limitation is layer adhesion, for example. Layer adhesion, I mean, you have to print to understand how that polymer would behave. You know, it could have a lower tensile strength in injection molding, but as printed, the property will change. And we know that, right? Printed specimen have different properties that are not printed. So in any case, wherever we go, there is some limitation. But like we said at the beginning, the idea is to understand these limitations. I have this issue with my color photos. Where do you stop? Would have to chat sometimes, but I spend super nerdy about color. Would be its own Printbuster topic. Yeah, I mean, Matt, exactly. The color topic is the same. Like, where do you stop? Like, every time you take a picture, do you need to consider this, and the light reflection from the sun on your wall that reflect on blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's a good point. By the way, Matt, I think we should have you on stream to talk about colors. And then, talk about, the work you have done around colors. That's actually a very good idea. Oh, Zombie. Okay, let me send that to you. Let me send you the link. I think I'm going to close that curtain because I'm very hot. I'm very, very hot. Sorry. I'm just sending something to Zombie. Zombie. There you go. Oh, did I send anything? Okay, there you go. Okay, and let me share again this. Okay, let me close the curtain. Okay, it's a little bit hot. Let me put the aircon. I'm talking too much. Let me put the aircon. (21°). Okay. Oh, sorry, zombie. Sorry. Let me put you. Cool. How are you? Oh, hello. Is that me or we cannot hear zombie? Can you hear zombie?
There we go.
Oh yeah. Okay, I can hear now.
I am awesome.
Yeah. So
do I get entry? Bonus
no,
entry?
Yeah. It's good now. I remember this T-shirt. I really like it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Is that the DIY one where you just shuffle it like this and put it in the?
I have some not like this, but this is a local apple orchard.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Should have worn the Keller's topic.
Yeah, but we should. Yeah, we should have that. Maybe having Medic, Matt, and some of the other people that dive really. Noah as well. Oh, Noah really dived a lot into the science of colors, but from a comparison perspective, like what is yellow, what is blue, etc. And he did a lot of work on that. But that would be nice.
Yeah.
Come out on PLA. Hi Nick. Happy almost Friday. Well, I am Friday for me, so happy Friday for me. Tie-dye to match the filament wall behind him. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Okay, so sorry guys, I had to skip a little bit some of the chat. If you did write something, FUD detected. You wrote a lot of things. Let me try to catch. I want to read all of this because I think it's very interesting. How do you think about the topic, Zombie?
I just think it's neat.
It's neat? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have here for detecting. I'm glad your team is working to bring us a standard and involve us in the process. Yes, I want better data. I won't always need it, but sometimes I really do. I would completely change the value of your filament for me because I could be more deliberate in my filament choices rather than having to buy, test, and then just accept what I get. Yeah, for detective, that's a good point. And that's the reason why we're trying to develop that. A similar way as we are doing for the colors. We're doing a lot of work for the colors so that people know exactly what color they will get and what color combination they could get, etc. So we want to do the same for TDS. Like if they are really looking, we want to do two things. Number one, we want to spend time educating people on the different properties. Like you have an application, and then what would be the different properties that could be interesting to look at when choosing filament. So that's number one, more on the education. Number two, having more information on our data. And that's the reason why we open. Another reason why community is so important is because we still have the experience-based decision, right? If you want to choose a material for your RC car, then you just go in our RC car community and ask people, okay, what do you guys use? Well, I've been using PLA Pro and it's been working well. So experience-based can also be a great way to define or to choose material, right? To make your purchase decision. Maker B is the TDS helped me to define whether or not Polymax was worth the extra price for a given project. I didn't say here is the required spec. That would unreasonable without testing it myself on my printer. It shows generally material difference that could then price compare, and it was extremely helpful in that way. Yeah, I mean, in a way, Maker Bees, I won't lie, TDS is also a little bit of a marketing tool, right? Because in theory, we could make a material better than another one. I mean, it's very easy, right? You just design the test so that that material is better than that one. The only limitation is we don't do different methods so that one appear better than the other one. Is once we have a method, then we use it for all of them. But for the impact strengths, for example, we know that sorry, it's getting a little bit cold now. We know that Polymax PLA is definitely a more ductile material. So we wanted to design a test that would really show the extreme ductility of Polymax PLA. And that's the reason why when you go and check, actually, let me show you on screen. You see, when you go and check that, then Polymax PLA is far superior than any other one, right? And that's the reality. I mean, I don't know what was your experience when you tried the Polymax PLA, but you should have the same feeling as the TDS gave you. And that's what we're trying to do. We are trying to make sure that the TDS reflect your feeling. What was that?
My spring line stapler.
Why, is it printed or you just like the red?
For a meme.
A big issue for me is how will it act around heat? Will it hold its form? Will it deform or get soft? That one I think is an extremely common one. Also, of course, UV resistance are the two things I see people asking about the most often. So I'd make those a priority of testing as printed, maybe at a few different wall thickness and under stress and not under stress. Yeah, I mean, heat resistance is definitely a big thing. And that's the reason why I think that's the properties where we have the most method. We have the glass transition temperature, we have the VCAT softening temperature, and we have the heat deflection temperature. And we are working on the creep. We actually, my tech fund did all the creep tests for the different materials. So all the thing around temperatures is the one we did spend more time, right? And the other one you said is UV resistance. Yeah, UV resistance is interesting because what does UV is gonna impact the most? Is it material properties? Is it mechanical properties? I think not. The UV resistance is for colors. It will affect colors much faster than it will actually affect the mechanical properties. Like you could have, you see, yeah. By the way, that's a good point. That's what I think, right? We don't have testing, and that's the point. A lot of people say, "Oh, you should use ASA, right? You should use ASA for outdoor thing. You should use ASA for that, for that, for that." Where? Give me one link that would show an actual test that shows that ASA is more UV resistant than another one, right? I mean, yes, I know there is some in the injection molding industry. There is, I guess, some type of data. Blah blah blah. Give me one company, filament company, that has done that test. I mean, we have. I shared it, right? And what did we see? We see that the impact resistance and the tensile strengths and many other were almost the same as Polytera PLA, even with the UV. Then you get what I mean? Like no data means nothing. I mean, you can believe in what you want, right? But always try to have some data. Hi, Do It 3D. How are you? Do It 3D Canada. Just in case we didn't know.
Yeah. Is there a Do It 3D US?
Yeah, there's Do It 3D is an international corporation. So Do It 3D Canada. I hope you know we have our Canadian website that is up and running. So if you want affiliate, oh no, I didn't set up yet. No, sorry, just forget about it. I need to set up the affiliate first, but we will have affiliate for Canada as well.
Maybe one day I'll reach affiliate.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Subsector 3D. I didn't see that. 27 minutes ago. So it was during. Oh, it's been 1 hour. We're talking. 27. I'm so sorry, Subsector 3D. I was completely into my thinking. I mean, maybe you are not here anymore, but
that's why I'm here.
Huh?
That's why I'm here.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I missed it. I will send her a message afterwards. But yeah, welcoming to the people that joined 30 minutes ago. Welcoming. Sorry, I was really into my my word and explanation.
Yes, if you need something, just tag me and I'll read it.
Yeah.
We're talking about the office.
I mean, yeah, that's why Zombie is here. Like there is Make a Deck, there is Z and Z, they are together, they can do, and then Loyal, they have Mrs. LM and LM. They are all like a team. I need my my Z and Z or my Mrs. LM.
All right, Liz, get on here.
Okay. The reason I use your filament is because you actually do the science and figure out what products are actually capable of. At least that's what we are trying. But as we see today, it's not that easy, right? To define what you can do with filament. Like for example, when we did the the XCV project, the car, the 3D printed car, like the actual car.
Yeah.
When we did that project, we realized that the printed performance of nylon was similar to the injection molding performance of PP, which PP is the main
really?
material used for the car parts, right? So instead of engineering polypropylene that was able to be printed, we actually spent time engineering nylon, and that's the reason why we are so advanced in the nylon technology, is because of that project, right? They needed to print huge part for their cars. Now, how do you print a huge car out of nylon? So we had to do a lot of R&D to figure out the warp-free technology. But anyway, injection molding, PP, same as, or let's say similar as printed nylon. And that was really interesting. Good evening, Tonya. Gulcifer. You can Gulcifer it. You can Gulcifer it? Gulcifer it? What was that? I don't think 99% of the producers care or want to expose their weaknesses. That could be true, but I do think is very useful for users to understand limitation of materials. Like showing the limitation of materials it's not a weakness, in my opinion. I don't think people will say, I shouldn't buy this because there is limitation. I mean, everything has a limitation, and I think it's better to know them instead of not knowing them, right? Because we know by default everything has limitation, right? Hi, the first layer, Richard. Okay, great. Let me go back a little bit. I saw some message. For detective, do you have a resource for how to better read the TDS? Because I've already shown me. You've already shown me. I don't understand it well enough. What I can share for detected is on the Discord. I can put the link again. I shared a training document on how we do all our different tests. So I cannot tell you how to read the TDS according to your application, but I can explain a little bit more into details. How do we actually test the material? And then you can define what properties would be interesting for you. Often the limitation comes with some benefits, lower cost, better for cheap iterating, and some properties elsewhere is better. Yeah, for example, GF and CF. Why CF is so big in the market? Is that because of the properties, or is that because of the name? Is that because of the SEO, right? In my opinion, nice. I think, yeah, I mean, it does look nice, right? But actually, beautiful. GF would also have a very nice finish, right? But why CF? Yeah, I mean, yes, it does look amazing for detected, but I think GF would be as good. Yeah, come out on PLA. I agree with that. Yeah, it is good. I mean, whatever you add CF,
it's not good, it's perfect.
it would just come out really good. But if that's the case, then just use Polytera PLA. I mean, that's going to be the same, right? Or draft
it's
PLA.
Like,
that's going to be the same.
It comes out like perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, I do think like you come out on PLA. I think that's a little bit of a hype. The fact that, oh my God, there's carbon fiber inside. That's huge. That's crazy. But GF, I mean, let's go, like, how much do we sell our GF compared to our CF? I think that there is quite a difference in pricing.
If the glass fiber was colored, if you spent time coloring it, maybe it would be more popular.
And the glass fiber can be colored. The carbon fiber can be, but it will stay very dark colors, right?
Well, people like dark colors.
So, for example, our CF GF is $45, and our GF is $29. Yeah, $30, right? So that's what did I say? The other one, $50. So that's a $20 difference. Do you really need the extra properties that CF bring for $20? That's the question, right? And I think
by
a
properties,
lot of people,
you mean the surface finish? Then yes.
I think the surface. I mean,
actually, I don't think I've ever printed the glass fiber.
Yeah, I think the surface finish of GF is also as good. I mean, it's the fibers that create the matte effect.
I'll have to try that next.
It's the matte effect that makes it good, right? So, anyway, maybe you can think about it. right? I mean, not that I don't want you buy our CF, but you can better consider, right? What's worth the cost? Would the $20 worth the additional stiffness, the additional rigidity, the additional impact strength? Do you really need that much? That's the question. Dusty Knuckle, common kids. Polemica is trying to have a serious topic. Can we stay on topic and leave the adolescent off topic? We will go back to this topic. Actually, it's Zombie. You see? Zombie come here and then we're completely off topic.
Hey. You weren't even on topic for 30 minutes.
3D Musketeer said he likes the GF looks better. Yeah, it's subjective. I do think whatever is matte, it just looks cool because it just hides the layers. Whether it's our lightweight PLA, whether it's our Polytera PLA, whether it's anything reinforced with fibers, whatever look matte, look good.
So Little John needs some PA6 carbon fiber, and Major Gamer Geek needs PA6 glass fiber. So let's get those set.
I want GF option, color option. Yeah, I've seen more and more asking for color option for GF, but to be honest, we sell so much more CF more than GF that currently it doesn't make more sense. GF is not popular enough to invest in more color. I would invest more colors for CF, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah, I want to see like dark blue, like add as much blue as you can. I want to see this, like, that'd be amazing. Oh my God. Just for looks. I don't care about the mechanical properties, but for looks, definitely.
Maybe draft PLA. We are trying to come up with colored draft PLA.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think we were talking about that, right?
Yeah. I'd love a darker gray PLA, something between your existing gray and... Really? Fault detected. Have you checked our steel gray? I think it's pretty dark. You're talking about our PLA, yeah. Have you checked this? I mean, you're talking about something in between our gray and black. I mean, that's literally steel gray.
Steel gray.
You see?
This one?
Let's look at my beautiful poster. You see? Between black and gray. That's still gray.
Yeah, it's like a... I mean, it's still pretty light, but it could be darker. Yeah. Like compared to the dark gray ABS, I think that's darker.
Are there weight difference between the GF and CF option? No, they both come in 500 grams and 2 kg.
Yeah, it's like slightly different.
Try PS6 CF. I need to test PS6 GF. Okay. GF.
Dark gray.
Yeah, it looks black on my camera, on my monitor, my bad monitor.
You need to get calibrated monitors.
Yeah, I mean, I need to put the stream feedback on my Mac instead of having what I shared on the Mac, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have sample set? I could get down with sample sets. We do have, I think, sample box for CF and GF. I don't know if, because we're not putting a huge amount of effort in our sample box recently because we're planning to change. But I think the sample box for... Yeah, no, we don't have anything in stock. No, sorry. That do more for me than the TDS. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe samples are better than TDS. Dark red, dark blue. What chat is being read? Oh, light cover. I see you are from YouTube, so we have both YouTube and Twitch. So that's the reason why sometimes I'm reading something that you cannot see because it's on Twitch. It's just that on my screen it's mixed together, so that's why. I think there would be a market for GF ASA, namely printing parts. Yes, good point, Basiensi. The limitation is it's not easy to do. I mean, if you remember well, or not, but we printed a 25-meter bridge out of ASA GF, right? But it was easier to make pallets for printers than actual filament. It's very brittle. ASA GF is very brittle, but it's in the work. Let's say. I've only looked at the matte one because they have the surface finish I'm after. Oh, okay. So you were talking about Polytera PLA dark gray. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. That'd
be really nice.
Actually, just a side topic on the colors, very quickly. We are using the fact that we now have more accurate hex code to draw a three-dimensional matrix with all the colors, so that we can define empty space in that matrix that we could release colors on. Does that make sense what I just said? You have a 3D space of colors, and then we create a matrix with the point we already have within that 3D space, and then we can easily calculate the different points in that 3D space that are very far away, so that we can pick a color inside it. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. Okay. Does that make sense, Zombie? Because your face means no.
I'm waiting for the fourth dimensional matrix or a Mobius strip of colors.
A better, more even distribution. Yeah, exactly. For detective. So for detective understood. So I should be good enough. At least one person understood what I just said.
I know what you mean. I know.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on Wednesday's chat, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I
one
think,
of the chats.
yeah. So that's a good way to find colors that would be a great addition to our portfolio. But anyway, that's another topic, the colors. Polymaker, I need that poster in real. I'm always trying to compare colors. Yeah, actually, I don't know if you were the one that asked this on Twitter, but I had a couple of people that asked for the poster. So what I answered is, we released so many colors that the poster would quickly get expired. But yeah, I also wanted it as a poster, actually. You know what?
Merch. We need merch.
Yeah. Actually, I received the Fiverr Murph. I mean, I hired a Fiverr guy and he sent me, and it looks pretty cool. I will try to show that to you in the next open meeting. It looks pretty cool. But
someone to test some samples.
I could print a couple of posters for Rocky Murph and just give them away at Rocky Murph. I mean,
you can.
But,
I don't know if Ash does any regular printing. He does.
Sorry, I was not sharing the screen, but we're talking about this. Okay. I just received my roll of blue-green. Is it normal to look green-blue? Let's not start that topic.
Oh yeah, I still need to get some of that. I still haven't. Been out of stock on the website.
I think it's in stock. I think
it's not. I just checked.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
I mean, you can check again.
Maybe anthracite color. Sorry, I don't know what that means. Light cover. Thanks. Watching on YouTube and was looking for it in Discord. Yeah. No, sorry, light cover. It's on Twitch, Twitch and YouTube. And that's the reason. That's the reason why I haven't went affiliate, because I don't want to lose that opportunity to go on. Because I don't. It's not a money stuff for us, right? It's a company, Twitch and YouTube. So that's the reason why. So that's why we don't have funny emojis and this type of thing.
I know. Can I steal your emotes that you spent all this time working on? I'll take them.
Oh, you mean the stickers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I will send all of that. I need to talk with Marsh Theater.
They have a bunch of animated slots. I can import them in.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Because I mean, most of the people here, they will be able to use it. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Get the spider screen calibrator. I don't know what that is. I need a sample of every color in a big enough size to print a swatch to compare. I'm actually looking. Actually, they Beeves. Have a look at the 3D pen filament. It's another way to get the colors. So I just need to match, because we released that way before we had all our colors. So I need to match the name so that you know exactly which one is which one. But that's another way to get all the colors to print swatches, right? To get the 3D pen filament, because that's literally the same filament. Blah blah. There is a Polymaker Canada. Yeah, the first layer. Sorry, I didn't have time to do an update with our partners, but there is a Polymaker Canada now.
Well, it's still soft launch though, right?
Yeah, it's a soft launch. I will officially announce it most likely next week. I mean, things has been going well so far. I fixed a few bugs that has been reported to me, but it's been working not bad so far.
Yeah, like the 100% off issue. It's like, get whatever you want.
Did you know that we had a big issue, but fortunately just before the launch I noticed it, is that all the discount that was on the US website was copy pasted on the Canada website, but without customer limitation. So anyone could use it. So there is a lot of percent off, a lot of 50% off, and anyone could have used it.
So hopefully it's fixed now.
Yeah, it is. Don't go and try. It's fixed.
Don't go try as you're live streaming. Yeah, chat.
Um,
Don't do it.
Polymaker Canada just dropped. What? Really?
Maybe we'll have to. Oh, he killed it. Great.
Really? Let me check. No.
Oh, it's just slow.
Hear me? No, it's still.
Oh
good.
yeah, I think I messaged you. You don't read my messages, but the Discord.polymaker.
It's fixed. I read. I read
fixed?
your message. It's just
Do you read
sometimes
my messages?
I don't answer on time.
I don't believe you.
I fixed it. As soon as I read your message, I asked the service guy to fix it. It should be fixed by now.
Okay. Yeah, I invited a bunch of people from the Bamboo community.
Oh yeah,
Like
who are all of these people?
They're just
From
Bamboo
where?
users.
Oh, Bamboo users. Okay.
We were talking about the how I was gonna help make different profiles and tests. Everyone's like super excited because it's like, oh, I love Polymaker. That's all I print.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much. Polymaker spools in VR. You mean like when we, recently I visit a lot of home, like virtually, to choose my home for Houston.
Yeah.
And there is all of these VR option, but I mean, I don't have the VRs, but I'm thinking about, so like we have the spool. Oh, sorry, that's a confidential spool. Maybe this one. So, and then you just go into VR and then you can see all the spools, and then you can take the spool in your hand and then you can put it together and then compare. Oh, that's a good idea. Like a 3D model of the spool with the actual color, and then people go in VR in our warehouse and choose the spools they want, and then they compare with each other.
Someone was playing a VR game where there was actually like a 3D printer and you could upload files and you can see it 3D print in VR.
Oh, everything in VR. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
A Polymaker meta universe where you can go and try materials and do tensile tests.
The
Polyverse. And then you have tensile machine, impact strength machine, and then you can.
Oh my god, that'd be cool! Like a virtual factory, like you can make your own filament color.
That would be so cool.
All right, if we have any developers, we're looking for someone to make that the Polymaker game.
Yeah. But there are some areas in the 3D color space which almost no one wants. Something like, okay, I don't know what that is. Let me try to copy paste here. What is that color?
What is it?
I don't know. It's a hex code. I have no ideas.
Oh, what? Yeah, I can't read hex.
Really? Nobody wants that? Don't tell me
nice.
This. That's exactly our army green. Like, wait. Is that?
No, that's
That's olive
that
green.
that looks like that's that's this color.
Let me check our army green. Please don't tell me we created a color that nobody wants.
Is that this color?
What's this one?
This is Persian Mystic Green.
No, the Mystic Green is really good. Mystic Green is really good.
Similar. Has some of those tones in there.
Yeah. Okay, no, we don't have that color. Okay. Thank you for being awesome, Liz. Will you have filament to purchase? Rocky Murph, I want filament to print at my maker table. No, we won't. But Major Gamer Give, if you have a maker table, maybe I didn't market that enough, but you can just reach out to me. I will just send you filament. That's no problem. If you want to print, that's no problem.
Yeah, we want to see all the makers just printing Polymaker, right?
Well,
sorry, I gotta bring some filament for. I still gotta figure out which printer I'm bringing and get that set up.
Yeah, so we won't sell anything because I needed to have some extra paper done, and I just didn't want to spend.
I'll sell stuff at your table.
Okay. Do you sell pen filament in 1.75? Yes, we only do 1.75 actually. We don't do 2.85. Thank you for being awesome, Jerry. Stay until the end, Jerry. It would be great if each product line was available as a 3D pen sample pack. Really? I don't think the PC would be a good 3D pen filament. Same for the nylon.
PCFR.
So, yeah, PCFR, PCPPT for the 3D pen. That would be a industrial.
That's like Bob's 3D pen. It's gonna be like a 3D pen, but like with like a giant heater on it and like a little enclosure.
Exactly, that's Bob's 3D pen. I need something that will survive in a car in the desert. Any ideas? Well, if you have some numbers,
Nylon.
because a cart in the desert, like what's that? Like, does it reach like 60 degrees C, 100 degrees C?
Like 120, 130 Fahrenheit probably.
Okay,
Whatever that is in
does that
units.
but yeah, I think numbers is more useful if that's possible. Could be wrong. He just announced it. He just announced what? Daran? Sorry, I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
guessing probably make a website. I'm not reading the chat.
Polemic ASA is great. Thank you so much, Printed Vision. ASA and PLA Pro are the one that usually have very good reviews. Not drop like not online, but it's new. Oh, it just dropped. Okay. I thought you said it shut down or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought it meant it dropped too.
Yeah. So Polemic, does that mean my ticket will come out of Canada and not US? Yes, the first layer, exactly. And that's the reason why it was a little bit late, is because I knew we would launch Canada very soon, and I wanted it to go from Canada. So that's the reason, Richard. Was that the wonderful future to be available red? Because it could get down with some confidential red filament. I don't have any. Oh, you mean that one? Well, actually, is it confidential? Because I think I literally put the picture of this one on the website.
That the metallic red?
It's not that confidential. I think it's on the website, this one. Let me check. I think
metallic red is definitely on the website.
Let me check. Maybe it's not confidential anymore. Yeah, I put it on the website. That's this one. I need Medic to take picture of this one as soon as it arrives, because I don't know. Is that the same for you guys?
What about it? Yeah, it's pretty similar. It's a weird red. I can't quite tell. It almost looks like a Voron red.
Yeah, it's a metallic red, so it's gonna be an amazing colors. I mean, I printed.
It looks nice, yeah.
But I printed a lightsaber, not a lightsaber, a katana, retractable katana, and it was beautiful. It was really, and I will do the same. I will print each metallic color for Rocky Murph, because they're just so amazing. I mean, look at that magenta.
I'm actually gonna give them away this time.
They're beautiful, and the blue is extremely popular. I'm really happy with the blue. It's very popular. I mean, it's almost never on stock, by the way. But anyway, these new metallic colors, I mean, you have to have the set. They're just every single of them are just beautiful.
I use metallic silver as like, if I need to print something, I just print in that silver. It just looks so good.
And you can see the evolution of our neat winding technology, right? See there, and then here a little bit better. And
I had
then
trouble printing a Benchy though.
Ooh, is that what's that? Why did you want some
Benchy?
Oh, it's a bench. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was a warping. Okay. In which direction did you print that?
I think like this.
Oh, the organic support from Prusa direction?
Nope. No organics, just printed. I actually handled the overhangs quite well for being almost 100%.
Major Game again. Will there be a virtual TDS in the Polyverse? Well, talking about the Polyverse, did you know that in 2022 we started working on a virtual exhibition? But it has never came out because we dropped the project. It was too hard. But we started working on the idea of a virtual exhibition where you could visit our products, our information virtually. So we may go back to this. I mean, it could be cool. Hey, Creatrix, how are you? It's too dusty to be army green. How are you? We have different army green, actually. We have an army light green. We have an army dark green. We have a PLA Pro Army Green, and I think that's maybe an ASA. I think, but yeah. By the way,
I actually quite like the dark green. Where's my hammer? Yeah, this one.
You should try this. What is Johan? You should try these two colors. Creatrix, you should try these two colors. Oh, will you go at Rocky Murph, Creatrix? Oh, I'm so late in the chat again. What are you doing tonight? Making new colors? No, actually, we were talking about TDS until ZombieCon and just throw everything out.
No, we're having fun now. It's a party.
Now we're just having fun. Sorry. Okay, how about we go back a little bit on the TDS?
Yeah, 5 minutes TDS.
Okay, let's go back a little bit on the TDS. So what?
Because I have some thoughts.
You have some thoughts. So okay, let's go. I will not be at Rocky Murph, but I will be at Earth. Okay. Then I will see you at Earth. I will go at Rocky Murph for sure. Earth for sure. It's just Murph that I'm not sure I will go. But I will bring you. Well, maybe it's going to be too late. Maybe I will just send you the metallic red and the metallic magenta. I do have the feeling that you're gonna love those two colors, the metallic red and the metallic magenta. Okay, so what did you want to say, Zombie, about the TDS or about what we talked about before you joined?
I think it's definitely more useful as a comparison. So that tool you built, now assuming that the stuff was tested correctly, and even then, like which one is it? I think it may be Young's modulus. One of the ones has like 3 different standards in one. Which one is that? Is it bending strength or?
And they all have the method, you mean?
One of them has a different. Maybe it's melt index. That's the one. So melt index has a different standard for all of them.
Oh,
a bunch of different standards. So it's really not useful. I don't know. It's hard to compare. So I think the only good use for the TDS is comparison, right?
Like for example, the melt index. Like how, I guess if we go from, and we should always do that, but if we go from what user need, what do they need? They
like,
need.
Is PA 612 really that high? What is it measured at?
612. Where is 612? I don't think we have 612 here.
Just this PA 12.
12? Oh yeah,
is
PA
it really that high?
280, and this one is at 300. Yeah. So yeah, it seems to have a pretty high.
So speed benchy.
Yeah. I mean, what are? Do you want to do 3D Canada and I to represent Polymaker in our Maker Fair in May? Oh yeah, it's true. You have a Maker Fair. Was that in May? Yeah, that could be cool. I think we talked a little bit about this. I think yes, of course. That would be cool. That would be cool. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, Zombie, actually the first layer and Do It 3D are very close. Actually, I think they live very close together. What I was about to say, yeah. So for the melt index, the idea is we want to know how fast. I guess that's the need, right? How fast you can run the material. But now the question is, like, how do we define that? My PhD supervisor used to say the wonderful things about standard is there are so many of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no standards.
Be careful with that hanger. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm playing with that. I just need something in my hand.
So you're a maker. I see.
Please put that hanger down. Yeah, I don't know why I play with that. I think because I just dry my shirt here and I had with the hanger. I guess that's why. We are all chatting away and Nick is still on the 2022 chats. Yeah. Sorry, I'm yeah, sorry. I don't read fast enough. Yeah, how do we, like, let's brainstorm around a data that could be useful for people when it comes to how fast can I print. Like a lot of people are talking about max volumetric speed, but we talked about the different limitation, like how do we test that on what printer and at what setting, etc. The melt index, for me, the melt index is what's closer to an actual standard, but there is still some iteration. But anyway, let's start brainstorming here. How would you want us? What data would you like from us that would be useful for you to understand how fast you can print a filament?
I would say at its maximum. I don't know. There's two. So there's like the maximum that you can print it at, like the maximum you can heat it up to.
Because I mean, theoretically, I could have like a 1,000 degree nozzle that is 2 centimeters wide, and I just, you know, I mean, you know what I mean, right?
It's a combination of I guess, of speed So when you're speed printing, you increase temperature because the filament's not actually reaching that temperature. You're trying to get to a certain temperature.
Yeah, extrusion temperature and printing temperature are different. Printing
So-
temperature, I define it by the heat block temperature, or like the temperature you put in your slicer. And extrusion temperature, I define it as what's the temperature the plastic come out of the nozzle. So you can increase the extrusion temperature by not touching the printing speed, right? You just, I don't know, slower the printing temperature, sorry. But anyway, so yeah, let's brainstorm there. Like what would you do? Like how can we test that? Do we take a standard printer? Well, we'll have to define what that printer is, and we test everything at 300 degree, or like, yeah, I don't even know where to start.
So for reference, when I developed the Swatch truck, I used the surface flow calibration method for filament. So that's dependent on a bunch of stuff like your temperature, how fast you're going, etc. So I standardized it at 40 millimeters a second because at 40 millimeters a second with a 0.4 nozzle, that should give you roughly 2-point-something millimeters cubed of volumetric flow. And that's your typical outer wall speed or outer wall flow for like a typical printer. So that's where I standardized flow. But that's not super useful when you're trying to speed print, is it?
Well, I think the max volumetric speed is important for especially the infill, because you want the infill to run as fast as possible. So I think it would have to be defined for the infill, because the outer wall will always be the slower speed, so it doesn't really matter. It's not really affected by the max.
So when I test the volumetric rate, I go by what I'm printing the outer walls at. So you calibrate, or I calibrate my printer for the outer walls, which I do pretty slow. But then I take that speed or that temperature that I have the outer walls printed at, and then find the maximum for the inner walls. Because I'm not printing my outer walls at like 240 for PLA, printing at normal speeds on my printer. Maybe like on a Bamboo, but that's printing the outer walls at faster speeds.
Francis is suggesting regarding the max volumetric speed, it's possible to give the value inside the recommended printing setting with a standard 0.4 nozzle. The other question is, how do you define the printing setting? Like recommended printing setting. Let me ask a question. How do you think we as filament manufacturer define the temperature range and the speed range? How do you think we're doing this? Do you think it's just like some magic number, or have you ever thought about where does that come from?
I have no idea. I think it's just random.
Random, okay.
Yeah. I think it's based off of the average recommended speeds from printers.
You have a comment for your t-shirt. Someone is really falling in love with your t-shirt.
Maybe they're hypnotized. Yeah. Buy Polymaker. Buy Polymaker. Buy Polymaker.
So, sorry, what were you saying? So you have never really thought about this. Like where does those recommended setting come from?
Well, I just ignore them. But I'm assuming it's from like an Ender 3 prints at 60 millimeters a second. And then that goes into the topic of what even is speed. It's kind of a meme on my channel, because people say like I'm printing this at 150% speed. Like, well, 150% of what? Every slicer is at different speeds. Every part of your printer is different speeds.
I remember that. That. I'm printing at 300%. That's huge.
300%, yeah, of 20%.
I think you print with it until you get something you like on the machine you have.
100% of what?
So that's very broad, but okay. I mean, I'm actually interested in knowing, like, how do you think we find out this range?
It's actually quite scientific.
The spool the fastest and order more. Okay. I need an open filament rack now. So I print filament recommended from 230. I mean, check out the recommended temperature of. Do you have a spool of 612 around you?
612, yeah.
Yeah. What's the range temperature?
I put it away. Let's see.
Okay, it's okay. Let's go on the website. Like, let's go on. Like, what's the recommended temperature of 612? Let's go on 612.
250 to 300, but 30 to 60 millimeters a second.
To 300.
250. Yeah.
It's like a 50 degrees C range.
And it works at both. I tested it.
So, okay, so I reiterate the question. Sorry, I will read. I saw some answers. Yeah, how do you think we find out all of this? I print filament recommended for 230 at 190, for example, is just a recommendation, not a rule. Yeah. I mean, like, how do we even come up with this recommendation? Like, why Polymax is this to this?
This is the answer. All right, chat. I need a number between 30 and 80. 30 and 80, and increments of 10. 30 and 80 increments of 10. Pick one.
You have 20. You have 200 face dice to choose between 200 and 400. Yeah, we just throw a dice and then we just write that on the sticker.
Yeah, there you go. So you take this, interpolate the data, find the mean, and then find the closest to the value. So it looks like we're at about 50. Yeah, 50.
It's the speed at which you extruded the filament in the first place. No. It's this speed is very particular, but it's definitely not 60 millimeter per second or 200. What's the question? The question, Little John, is how do you think we choose or we figure out the temperature and printing range that we put on our sticker? I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody really thought about this, but they just take it as that must be that because it's from the manufacturer.
So you take I don't know. What do you even do? Because you take the volumetric flow, the max flow for the filament in a specific setup, and then extrude or calculate.
Thermal conductivity of the plastic seems to play a direct role in printing speed. Yes, Lightstorm Pilot, it does. It does, actually. The closest one to something really accurate would be Mirage C, I think. He's testing ways are really going beyond what most people would even think about, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Actually making that practical.
Did you see he released this video of the fix for the gears?
I didn't watch it. I saw he released a new one to see if...
TLDR, it fixes the issue for the most part.
Oh, you just spoiled me. You just spoiled me.
What do you think it wouldn't?
You could use a hot end extruder combination. Doesn't need to be mounted on the printer. It gives the flow rate at which a certain under extrusion measured by the weight of what is extruded compared to the target is. Like, when does it get 300% too light? The temperature could be the highest one that can still work without breaking down the specific materials and bring well with product cooling. That's a good way, Sebastian. Maybe a follow-up question would be, what extruder do you use? What nozzle do you use? What heat block do you use? All of that, what do you use? Do you define a market standard?
Ooh.
And another question is, you could reach 1000 degree and just push the filament very quickly and still not have any under extrusion. So that's two follow-up questions on how do we define that.
Yeah. That's the question I was going to ask. With all the addition of fast printers, we have so many like fast printers out of the gate now. Are those numbers even valid anymore?
Sorry, come again. I was reading something. Come again.
Because there's so many fast printers now, you have Bamboo.
What else
Solval SVO 6 Plus is a fast printer, which is reasonable because it has a volcano. But you have printers that are coming out that are claiming to be fast, and now they're actually starting to become faster and faster. As we shift to those faster printers, are the same recommended values going to be applicable? Because you can go a lot faster now.
That's a really good question. And that's actually why we start to bring out that topic, is because, that range was based on printer standard of that. So let me just answer the question. So how we do that, we basically print on Ender 3, we print a cylinder in vase mode, and we
So you do the
print it.
racetrack test.
Yeah, we print it at I think at 220 for different filament. Like we go from very low to very high, like from when it start to extrude, like a 180 for a PLA, for example, until 300, and then we do different speed, and then we just visually define where it stops. So basically, you will have a bunch of cylinder, and it will grow in triangle. Like some of them will under extrude very quickly because the temperature is too low. It cannot keep up with the speed as it increases. And then you have that range that is defined like this. So just to answer you. So it's not particularly perfect or takes a lot of factors, but it was good enough. It was good enough. And that's the important part. We need in 3D printing, if you are really into 3D printing, you have to be comfortable with good enough. Because there's no way we can get perfect stuff in 3D printing. There's so many factors that right now, if you just come into 3D printing, just know that you have to be comfortable with good enough.
It's hard.
That's all what you're gonna get.
Because I'm an engineer. I like to, when I'm doing stuff, I like to be kind of perfect. I'm a perfectionist, so I strive for perfection.
Mm.
And 3D printing is so hard because it's so imperfect, but it's so close. Like you feel like you can get it perfect, but you can't.
So good enough is good enough, and good enough for me is within 50 micron in all features, internal and external. So the challenge is what? The challenge is to define this good enough. That's the biggest challenge. The challenge is not really to make something perfect. The challenge is really to find out what is good enough for the market, and that's the reason why we invest so much into community and market research and market understanding, because that's the only way we can define that good enough. And why today am I talking about TDS?
Because Big Geno, thank you for the raid.
I was
thinking
why Builders Mark is writing on your left. I was thinking about the Marvel movie, and I was like, why is he saying that?
Yeah. Geno's run right by you.
On your left. Hi, Big Geno, how are you? We just went back to the TDS topic, so that's good, because we were a bit off topic just before, a bit before.
Hey, now we're back off topic. Woo!
So welcome, Big Geno and Big Geno viewers. I hope you guys had a very good live stream. Polymaker working hard to be just good enough. My Chibin, I mean, it's funny when you see it like this, but that's exactly how it is. We are working very hard to be just good enough. I mean,
Well, that's true though, because if you put too much effort into being perfect, then all your costs keep going up and up, and you then aren't the popular brand anymore.
Have a good night, the first layer. Richard, have a very good night. Thank you for being awesome, Michael. Perfectly imperfect. Exactly, Big Geno. We are perfectly imperfect. And for me, being perfect is being just that good enough. Not too much, not additional resources for not much result, and not below. Like being just good enough is for me perfect.
Being perfect is understanding your audience and relating to them.
Thank you for being awesome, Turan Tudan. That's why a good enough max volumetric speed is needed. I don't want to change the printer speed setting per filament. So but that's the thing. Like we need to think about how to define that good enough with the new standards that are going on with printing settings, especially with the bamboo. So that also goes back to maybe we should have profile. Maybe we should put more resources in profiles. But we did have a project where we wanted to scientifically link the melt index with the printing range, but we didn't pursue that because again it was above the good enough. I think it was too good and too much resources. I want that it's inside the new Polymaker box. We are working hard just to be good enough. Yeah, I mean, if we put it this way, then it sounds a little bit strange, but that's exactly what we're doing. Playwright PLA say 40 to 60 millimeter per second. I need a quick draft print, so I just said solid. I printed at 800 millimeter per second with 25 acceleration. It came out okay. Yeah, Little John. I mean, that's the thing. Hi, Ginger. What do you think about our TDS? So, but that's the thing, Little John. One of the issue we have at the moment is when you go on Reddit, especially the Bamboo Reddit, there is a couple of posts, maybe not a lot, but there is a couple of posts that says, "Hey guys, do you know any PLA that I can use on my Bamboo? Because I used to use Polylight PLA, but it can only go up to 60 meters per second." You see this type of post, and that hurt me because it's like, wait, how many people are not buying our filament just because of that printing range that we put on it? At least one, because yeah. So you get what I mean? So that's why I want to educate a little bit more where that printing range come from, right? It's just a suggestion, right? I should put that in red on the sticker, like suggested printing condition, right?
Well,
feel free to choose out of the red. But the problem is what? If we put 40 meters per second up to 300 meters per second, then the people that's going to print at 300 on the ender, they're going to say, wait, your PLA is not printing up to 300.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we come up with some marketing way of saying, these are the speeds for your slow printers, and these are the speeds for your fast printers. What do you think, chat? Would you want to see like fast printer or high flow printer, or like how would you define a fast printer? It's more high flow than anything. But how do you say that in a marketing sense?
For detective, keep naming our poly Terra poly for some reason. I don't know if it's autocorrection, but it's especially absent from Cura. Oh, the profile. Yeah. It's just if Polymaker is just good enough, I'm now absolutely content being a subjective failure. What? That's Tinoco. Michael V, yes, Bamboo profile for each of your filament would be great and sell a lot of Polymaker. I did see more and more people that are going away from Polymaker because of the carbo spool. It hurts me, but recently I saw 2 tweets in 3 days that says they don't print Polymaker anymore because we don't do refill.
Yeah. So we were actually talking about that too on the Discord, and the people that were interested, they specifically wanted just black, white, gray, like the simple colors. So I think if you are going to pursue that, then
yeah, this will be. So let me reiterate, summarize my view on refill. Yes, refill is a great idea if you finish the spool, right? So we will do that for best sellers like black, white, gray, maybe brown, but you know, for these spools. But we will definitely not do refill for our whole color range. I would rather prefer people using rings and snap the rings, use the color, and then snap it on another one, use the color, instead of having like literally 16 master spool. I don't think that's the best way to go. Just a summary of my view on that, because some people were asking, but it's hard to write this on a tweet.
Yeah, but that's the general impression I'm getting from whenever I talk about it, is people get very excited when they hear that it's going to be just black, because a lot of people just like black. Like the K2 range, black, gray, white, teal.
Yeah. That's literally the first thing I like. Draft PLA will definitely come in refill for, and maybe more than just 1 kg refill.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah,
and it will come, and we will most likely not sell any refill by the kg. That's still not confirmed, but we will most likely sell it by at least 2 or 3 or 4 or more, right? Because we don't think it makes sense to buy, like, you know, what's the point to buy 1 refill? You know, then it doesn't make sense, right? If you buy a refill, means you're printing a lot of this.
So if you're going to sell a refill, is it even going to be printable in a Bamboo?
Sorry?
Probably not then. If you sell a refill that's not compatible with the Bamboo, because your spools are already at max size, right?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question.
If you're saying that you're only doing refills of spools more than 1 kg, then that's not quite
No, sorry. What I say is we will not sell 1 kg alone. We will sell a carton with
like the draft PLA. Okay, yeah,
like the draft PLA. So we don't think it makes sense for people to buy 1 refill. Like if if you need refill, is most likely you will at least print 2 or 3 of that spool, right? So
Okay,
you better
I agree with that. Yeah.
buy the whole thing, and it will be much cheaper. I mean, selling 2, logistic wise, it's much cheaper than selling 1. But anyway, we can talk this in the open meeting. The more you try to nail it down, the worse it's going to be for you. Better to just recommend printing temperature on it and leave it at that. Yeah, I mean, as long as it doesn't impact purchase decision. The problem I have right now is start to impact purchase decision because of these new printers. People are starting to see that particular limitation, that suggestion as a limitation, and that's the thing I don't want. So that's the thing we need to define.
So in chat, Best CNC says standard flow and high flow are already nozzle conventions. So I think that could be a good idea of swapping over the spool to standard flow, which is what you have it now, and then high flow, which would probably be volcano spec, or I guess like Rapido spec or something like that. I don't know.
If you print too fast, the carbo spool catch fire. I think you would really need to print fast. The problem with cardboard at the moment is not the spool material, since you can print ring, is the fact that they are not consistent in size. I think because the tolerance we have, or at least for the ring design we are testing, is within the tolerance of our production. It was good enough. So again, maybe the good enough we have defined is not the right one. So we'll have to look into that. But anyway, when we release what we intend to release, then when we release something, we tend to try to make it perfect. I mean, again, my definition of perfection is what people need. And once we think our project is what people need, or it's good enough for what people need, then we will release.
I need more Galaxy.
For example, why do you think we had so many new products in the last year and a half compared to before? That's because we have redefined our good enough. I mean, for people that are following Polymaker marketing for quite some time, you may have seen the strategy switch.
What do you think, John? I think you're one of our oldest viewers in terms of...
John was the backer of our first Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Just Mecca, is draft PLA weaker than normal because it's recycled? Weaker than what normal? Than Polyterra PLA? Then
draft PLA. Actually, do you have the TDS for that yet? Is that out?
I don't know if that's out. Let me check. I don't think I.
You should probably post that if not, because I'm interested. Even just saying that it's close to Polyterra, I think that's pretty important, just to make sure people aren't buying it for structural use, because it does perform similar to Polyterra.
Yeah, it's pretty much. No, I didn't put it yet. Yeah, it's pretty much.
Is that something that you should mention? I don't know. It's like, if you're buying it, note that this is approximate performance to Polyterra or something.
The first review is a bad review, but it's 5-star because of our customer service.
Hey.
Cool. By the way, I reiterate that buy Draft PLA on our website. Don't buy it on Amazon. Not because I want you to buy on our website, but because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that. So
it's good stuff.
Yeah. But how is the refill package? Like this. I mean, like this. I mean, not like this, but with the core and then the filament and.
It comes like that. I'm not buying that.
Yeah, so that's how it comes. So without this.
So you extrude on cardboard, you rip it apart, and then put the plastic on it.
It's a jig, yeah. If you do a refill system, market it as production system. Yeah, we do have a product story already around that. I'm actually, I mean, not to be arrogant, but I'm pretty good at product story in general. I like it, and I think that's why maybe I'm good, is because I really like product stories, creating a story around a product. So yeah, for the refill, I do already have a beautiful story for it. how many experienced users follow the label suggesting printing parameters? Most already know the characteristic of their printer, add required print setting. It all needs to be fine-tuned anyway. Dusty Knuckle, if you go on the mainstream, people are almost 100% relying on the sticker.
Yeah. I say we're talking about the general population here, not our community.
Yeah.
This is for normal people.
Yeah, exactly. Like schools, for example, like teachers, they just take the spool, they just check what's on the sticker, and that's it. They really rely on the sticker. The plastic bamboo spools works better than the snap-on thing. Yeah, I mean, it works better, but as an overall, the snap-on thing, I think works better as an overall. Because how many bamboo spools will you buy? Like how many of them? Like as many as you have colors. So is that still a good idea? I don't know. If you don't have that many colors, then yeah, maybe it's a good idea. Let's say you're only printing less than 4 colors, 4 or less. Then yes, maybe it's good.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Oh, by the way, who is someone is trying to reach out to my window with something. Wait, what are they doing? Wait, stop.
I have no idea.
What are they doing? There's someone trying to reach out to the. There is something to put my clothes outside. They are trying to reach out with a plug. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, if they want my T-shirt, then go ahead. Good enough is never enough. Peslis is going to order this, I bet. Is it on the Canada website? Let me check. By the way, you can easily go from US to Canada here.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. That tripped me up because I'm so used to just like blindly clicking a filament. I was very confused.
Yeah, I mean, if you click home, it will just go home, but it's just if you want to go to Canada.
I was looking at to try to do the shop all to go to like the filaments.
Let me see if Canada has draft PLA in stock. No, not yet. We don't have. And I will install the Notify Me. Maybe this weekend I will install the Notify Me. So
that'll be perfect for the 10,000% MakerDeck spool, just like the draft PLA. Oh, that's what I should print it in, draft PLA. That'd be perfect.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
I think you need to make your entire catalog available on Amazon, and you need to group colors by type. Canum Yodi, we have that already. I mean, sorry, where are you from? If you are from the US or Canada, then our entire catalog is already on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I won't show you. Just believe me, it's our entire catalog is on Amazon. I mean, if you are from Europe, then no, but US and Canada. For detectives, so for the draft PLA, I would want it in gray. For the reason is I use it for iterative design, where I need to print, test, and print again, and I want to be able to see the details, which works in gray, but not so well in black. I also use it for things that may get painted, which gray works better for, because it's nice in between black and white. Okay. We are working on a gray version, but I may put that at a higher priority. You see,
that's exactly what I was saying. Is for the use case of this, I think gray makes a lot more sense than black. I just didn't know how feasible it would be.
So I think it should be. Like I said, we're working on a new project because there is recycled content inside, and we need to work on a sorting process in order to make colors. But I just want to highlight the type of feedback that Fault Detected has just given is really useful, right? Like when you need something, if you have a user story behind it, it's so much more useful for us to judge, how important it is. Like for example, what Fault Detected says, there's, it makes total sense. It makes me want to right now just say, why we didn't release gray already, blah, blah, blah. But you get what I mean? Like if you need something, if you can have the user story behind it, that would be super, super useful to make a faster decision. I don't want it to come out like, I don't want it to come like that, please. Refill a spoolless, spoolless product. Will the refill fit on the standard bamboo plastic spool? I cannot talk too much about this, but you will see when I release it. It will make sense. Don't worry. We hope we understand properly, what people need and what are the limitations, etc. And I can promise that when we re-release something, it will make total sense.
So what they're doing is they're sending you 1 kg of pellets, and then they're going to send you a little mini extruder, and then you can extrude your own plastic.
Exactly, straight on
There
the
you go.
spool.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Actually, straight to the printer.
You do need to go by the sticker. PLA temperature range are very wide. PTG, ABS, and ASA are even wider. Yeah. The CCP is after you. Yeah, I too prefer a darker gray, but I use PLA because I don't have to control ambient temperature or do much deal with off-gassing and fumes. What's that? Oh, temperature changing, this one?
Well, this is the front of the spool, and then this is the back of the spool with the useful information, the color.
Yeah, I know that already.
Unless you heat it in a dryer and then it just turns black.
Yeah, I hope Echo and Tongi saw when I tagged them there. When I checked last month, it wasn't. It was. I mean, since 2015, we've released in both on our website and on Amazon. Kalum Yori. So again, where are you from? US or Canada, or it is there? Maybe you are from Canada, and because of the out of stock, you cannot see everything. Anyway, it depends on where you are from, Yori. Did I earn a sample of it when it comes out? Which one for detected?
The gray draft or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I can do samples because they come by 10. I mean, even this Medic, I forgot, and I sent him literally 10 spool of draft PLA to take a picture. I forgot that the SKU was 10 spool and not 1 spool.
It's useful though.
Yeah, it will be useful. The black of the spool is the part where the filament ends and is held, right? I don't know, actually. I don't know what's our standard when it comes to... I don't know if we have a standard that will define we need to put the filament end here or here. I think it depends on where it stopped, because we are knit winded. So I think it depends on where it stopped. I'm not too sure if we have
it's
standards.
changing weird. I thought I was trying to purge purple, and it kept coming out white.
And because you put white?
I was waiting for the purple to come out, but it kept coming out white.
Well, because you put a white, or because it's a very long...
It's color changing. It's never going to come out purple when it extrudes.
Oh! Yeah. By the way, Art March Animation is here. So I will go back to him, because he's the one that designed our stickers. So I will go back to him, and we can finish the project, and we can put it on your channel. Can you put sold out by Paisleys on the screen? Oh, it's really? Oh, she bought the last one? I didn't know.
She bought the whole website. It's all gone.
Polemical refill. A pack of 10 YPLA Voron custom printer needs refill. ABS, ASA is better. I didn't say we will only do PLA. What I said is we will only do high demand material. If ASA and ABS appears as high demand, black and white, then yes. If not, then I can tell you already, PTG, ABS, ASA, PLA, black, white, and gray, they are considered as high demand.
Wait, Polyterra has the right... Wait, what?
Yeah, Polyterra is designed differently. It's the same because it's cheaper.
Why don't you do that for all of them? It's so much better.
Because of the portfolio size. I mean, it's all about strategy, but we're to make our strategy in one sentence. We develop our consumer product to attract different industry to our professional products.
This is such a nice looking spool. It's so clean.
You should Polyterra is the same. Yeah, so if you're in the US, buddy, if you are in the US, then Amazon US literally have all our spools. So I'm not too sure why you cannot see them. Refills for ASA, custom printers part are usually black. Also, just a suggestion. Yeah, I mean, most likely all the black and white and gray, except maybe Polymax PTG or PCFR, PCABS, but all the other, I think the volume is high enough that it makes sense to do a refill. I mean, people will usually finish their black and white spool, right? But they might not finish their pink and green and maybe some other one. I'm doing photos of Polytera spools. That is why I ask. Oh yeah, for the Polytera, yeah, it doesn't matter. I think. I mean, yeah, I don't have Polytera here, but I think it's only just confirmed. It should be the same, whether it's at the front or so. You can just make the part of the end of the filament behind, and they should be the same. The panels are the same. Medic is working so fast. I mean,
he needs another printer. He needs like double production.
Yeah. I mean, now it's about spool picture, but he's super efficient. I'm very happy we have started working together.
He needs a camera then. He needs a second camera.
Can we get magenta silk PVA? What?
Wait.
Magenta silk PVA. So you want a beautiful
Galaxy.
You're gonna dissolve away.
Oh, what? Okay, I'll say this, but rainbow, like a rainbow kind of PVA, that would be cool.
Why do you guys want a special PVA? It's gonna be dissolved.
Imagine like this shirt, but like no PVB, polysmooth.
Oh, polysmooth. Okay.
They say actually PVA. You want PVA? Yeah. So like a support filament that's like a.
Instead of PDS, I'd prefer a QR code that has batch and printing data in a basic HTML table that I could easily import into my production software. I've been harping a lot, traceability too much. Has batch and printing data in a basic HTML table that I could easily import. VastCNC, let me think. Actually, you can do that. You can, I mean, you can do that manually on your side because there is a QR code in all our products, and I'm sure you're not using like 30 of our materials. You may use like 4 maximum. So you just have to link. You create that HTML table manually. I mean, there's just 4 of them, and then every time you scan the QR code, then you link to that table. I mean, that should be pretty. I think that should be easy to do, no? Or maybe I didn't understand the actual requirement. Jeff Bezos has all their spools. There is Amazon Basics, but I don't think they are doing very well. But there is an actual Amazon brand for filament.
Yeah, I've seen that stuff, and all the reviews are kind of mixed. I think some of them are good, but it's like kind of interesting.
I recently wonder why the SA has the silver vacuum bag and the PLA have the transparent one. It's because of the moisture content, the speed at which they absorb moisture. The Mylar bag will stop more moisture than the nylon bag, and if the material the absorption rate is above a certain threshold, then we switch to the Mylar bag. Wait, I saw someone selling 1 spool of Polymaker on Facebook Marketplace for $60 a spool.
What?
Was that you, Paisley's? Paisley's is reselling our spools. Will you have a service to send in filament scrap to recycle into a draft filament? I do have something coming, but you will have to wait that I arrive to the US for that. I consume every single spool. Should I be setting up my failed print? Don't start now. I mean, except if you, I mean, depending on how much fail you have, but I will be announcing something after I arrive to the US, like towards the second half of this year. I want magenta water. Once I arrive to the US, it will be much easier to do some really cool stuff there. I mean, not that I don't care about the other region, of course, right? But it's.
I'll have to expand my studios. We can fit 2 people at once, and you'll have to fly over and.
Print
some stuff.
Is more that's my main responsibility for people that still don't know. I'm the North America business manager. Right? I know it looks like I'm a marketing guy.
This guy's important. He's like, for what you do, you're like you do too much.
That's why I'm talking about North America and mainly because that's the market I'm responsible for. It will end up looking muddy when it gets smooth. It's true that the color tend to change. The color effect tend to change when you smooth out. So, yeah. 4 maximum. I executed the guidance. I agree. A fat transition rainbow polysmooth would be very useful. I mean, we talked about that before, but polysmooth is a lot of people ask for something in polysmooth. We release it and it never worked. Like that's the reason why we have so many colors for a product that doesn't work that much, is because people has asked a lot for new colors, but nobody buys. So, and now you're asking for something that is even more expensive. Like polysmooth is like, how much is polysmooth? Polysmooth is
Much.
$39.99, I think. For woo, really? Oh, sorry, it's Canada. Sorry, I was surprised by my own price. In dollar, yeah, $36.99. If you're talking about a rainbow that's gonna be 40 something, I mean, who's gonna buy this? To be honest, the QR code now is just to the TDS. I just want a batch number. You can, VasCNC, you can scan the QR code that is on the box if you want. So that's going to be a batch number. That's going to be even more accurate batch number than the one that is on the spool, actually. I had no issues with the basic PTG for the Christmas print drive. The Amazon Basics, okay. I consume my filament. Yeah, I know, Paisley, it was just a joke. Are you going to be at Rocky Murph? Yes, I will. Sid, I will be at Rocky Murph. Actually, I had some discussion, but because my daughter's first birthday is on the 19th of April, and I think Rocky Murph is, when is Rocky Murph already?
Like 2 days after.
Yeah, it's on the 21st. So,
Like
and I obviously didn't want to miss the first birthday of my daughter, so I will fly on the 20th. And the problem is, I mean, not the problem, but the good thing is you guys are late. I mean, you're not late, but you are behind in terms of time. So that saves me half a day. So I will fly on the 20th, and I should arrive on the 20th. And then the day after, then I just fly to Colorado. But anyway, yes, I will be there. Oh, by the way, I need to design the booth. So ooh, I might do this in the next stream, I think, or because I don't have time outside of the stream.
I want like a 1 foot cube, like just like my stuff.
So we can design a cool stuff, and also maybe Zombie, you can join the stream to see what you're gonna bring also on your side to make space. Teza, I think what VasCNC means, if he needs the batch number to have the plastic exactly the same color. Then it's written on the spool. If you let me check. I don't know if the QR code, if the batch number on the spool is the same, then it will be the same color. But I mean, we do have a pretty good, depending on your requirement, but a pretty good delta E for batch to batch. So yeah, I know, for example, Retrap is using for like he's producing a lot with our Polyterra, and he never had any particular issue with colors, depending on your requirement. Okay, Little John. So what do I have? Polylite PLA, PLA Pro, ASA, Polymax Free Will, blah, blah, blah. That's a lot more Polymaker type of. Okay, fair enough. That's a lot more than I thought. I'll be there also. My wife's birthday is 2 days later. Oh, okay. So that's just after. My daughter is just before. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you there, Sid. Rocky Mount, Colorado to 20 seconds. Every batch of colors is usually slightly different. Yeah. So that's why, depending on your delta E tolerance. What's that?
Death Racer filament.
Oh, the HF? TPU HF?
Yeah. And then I'm waiting on a package which you never sent me tracking for. Are you going to send that, or?
Hopefully it doesn't take 2 months to get home this time. Oh, yeah. Don't get me on that. That was horrible. That was horrible.
Hey, that was fun. You got to hang out with the community a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I was very active at that time.
Very active.
I'm planning to build my battle racer out of ASA and TPU for the tribe first. Oh, nice. Did you make sure to register in our form to receive the filament?
Make sure to register on the website too. If you're going to the Rock Fest, make sure to sign up on the website as just a person going. And then if you're doing a Death Racer, make sure to sign up for that too. It's free. Just tell them that you're making one so they have an idea.
Rich Rap, he seems to have disappeared. He hasn't really disappeared, but he has been focusing a lot on his business. He's pretty active on Twitter, if you want. But I don't think he make much content anymore on the social. I mean, on YouTube. Ideally, delta E should be below 1. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know what's our standard. Maybe. Yeah, if you don't mind asking me that on Discord once again, or asking Tongye on Discord, and we'll be able to give you the standard. I don't remember what it is. Okay, great. So let me share that again. So yeah, we were talking about. Is it me or Zombie? You're very choppy. Like your voice and your camera.
Is it?
Is it on my side? It might just be on my side. Like how do you guys see Zombie? Is he smooth?
I'm looking at myself. Or it looks fine.
On the camera. Zombie is good for us. Okay. Then that's just for me then. Am I choppy for you if I do like this?
Well, I'm getting a live feed of you. Oh, I think you're a little choppy.
Okay.
Maybe.
Fine. Okay. Good. So, both seem fine. Okay, then that may just be for me then. Okay, so we were actually talking about that max volumetric speed.
Right.
Well, any conclusion on that? Like what?
Yeah.
I used to work at Creative Delta E while I was working at Kodak, and basically wrote a book on objective image creative metric. Yeah, I will let you know. Little John, what's our standard. I previously heard Nick calling Zombie chubby instead of chubby. You're a little bit chubby, Zombie. Eh?
I know, yeah. That's what happens when you work from home. I swear, you go to the office every day, you have to get up, you have to like walk around, and then you sit at home all day. It's noticeable.
I have the same issue. I mean, I actually this evening I'm gonna play soccer. I have a soccer match, and I'm trying to play as much as I can because that's the only time I do actual. Well, I read something. Sorry, a bit of an off topic.
Yeah, okay.
I find that's good. You need to have a hobby to learn. You need to have a hobby to learn. You need to have a hobby for your health. You need to have a hobby.
Not this one.
To make money, and I think there is 5, 4 or 5. I don't remember. I saw that on all of this Facebook ad or something like this. But I thought it was pretty good because, for example, let's say I really like team sport like volleyball, rugby, or soccer, or this kind of thing, and that's great because that's a hobby. So you really want to go and play, and that's a good hobby for health. And then you need a hobby for money. Then for me, I love my work, right? It's my hobby, 3D printing, etc., and that's also what makes money for me, right? And then you need a hobby to learn. And my hobby is ants and programming, and I always spend time on YouTube learning about ants and programming and this kind of thing. And then you can learn. So you need, I don't know I think there's a social part. You need a hobby to stay social, like dancing or something like this. But I don't remember. But I thought that was super, super nice. We need to find hobby in these 4 elements to have a really balanced life. Anyway, I'm going a little bit off topic, but I really thought it was great.
Yeah.
Can't read my. No, you can't read Nick's poker face. What?
I don't know. I don't know what he's referring to.
I didn't get your joke. But anyway, so back to the topic.
Yeah.
What should we do?
Okay.
What should we do? So, if you had the power to tell our product team to do a test, to do a test, what do you want us to do?
Okay.
What do you want us to
do? Two different tests. Take the 2 most common configurations. So Prusa Mark III, which is the standard flow hot end, and then we'll have to define a high flow setup of some sort.
Sorry, the most, but Prusa, like, why not the Ender 3, which is like
it's the same style hot end. It's like 40-watt heater with a standard like V6/MKE heat block. They're gonna be roughly the same in terms of flow, like usable flow.
So why the Prusa and not the Ender?
I don't know. Well, there's no standard for Enders anymore. There's Ender 3s don't really exist. It's all the S1 and the. I don't know. I don't know anything about market share. And... Hello? Am I gone? Hi, chat. This is the Hedgehog stream now. Oh, this is a cool print. Okay, this is what I was showing off on the other stream. Look at this thing. This is cool. This is on printables. It's a little truck. It's print in place, so it prints like this, and and then this thing attaches in. It's really cool.
Sorry. My VPN shut down. I'm always so scared when my VPN shut down because I feel like the stream is shut down, but for some reason the stream is still there even if I'm not there. So thank you for filling in. I just lost everything. Like literally my whole thing because everything is on VPN, the Discord, Twitch, the StreamYard. But anyway, so sorry, come again. So you said we need to first we need to define a standard configuration. We can talk about what's going to be that standard, but you want us to define a standard configuration when it comes to regular flow, standard flow?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. Because that's what's going to really define what you're measuring. Let's keep twisting.
Okay.
Let's twist once, now it's never straight.
And your suggestion is a Prusa i3 Mark IIs would be a good standard to go with.
Just like a standard, what I would consider a standard flow hot end, which is a standard heater block with like a 40-watt cartridge. That's what I would. That's what I go with. And then the like the regular V6. This is a copper block, but a regular V6. That's what I would consider a standard, or at least something that's able to be tested as a standard. Because this is probably the closest to average for a printer.
Okay, so the idea is we need to define the most used configuration on the market and do whatever test you want to do on that configuration, right?
And classifying by manufacturer. Right, exactly. It's not going to be classified by manufacturer in terms of marketing, but in terms of standard flow, you have to consider the manufacturers and the hardware.
MK8, not V6. That's the most common hot end in subtype of form.
Well, what's the difference in comparison? Because they're both not identical flow, but in terms of max flow or usable flow, the range is pretty similar.
I had fallen asleep, woke up to only zombie screen. I thought I slept through the whole stream.
right out. This was that truck. I'll post that in chat if anyone's interested. Oops.
I don't think it's the most used configuration, but most used class of printers, and then choose something that is relatively static and has a variable configuration out of the box. Yeah, so I guess we start to pinpoint the first challenge of this test is what configuration should we go for? So that's the Ender 3 S1 is similar to standard Ender 3.
I think in terms of consistency, I think Prusas are going to be more consistent than Enders from printer to printer. But in terms of like hardware design, I don't know if there really is a standard. Or not, there's no standard, but in terms of performance, which ones are similar?
The problem is, can everyone get that hardware and use it for testing? I mean, we're talking about the manufacturer, right? The manufacturer can get whatever. I mean, we just buy what needs to be bought, right? Okay, so you would go for a standard configuration. So I guess
just
that's
either anyways, one of these two.
Let's say we have a standard configuration. We can come back to that challenge.
These are essentially the same.
Some of them will be cheap, so they won't buy a $10,000 testing setup. Well, that depends. I mean, $10,000, depending on the company size, is not that much, right? We are really talking about a large filament company that want to provide good data with their filament. I mean, $10,000 is what? I agree that you should go with the most off-the-shelf configuration, Prusa for regular flow and Bamboo for high flow. Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about Prusa, but what we are talking about the most off-the-shelf configuration, and
that's what I'm referring to. Without data, I feel like in terms of averageness, in terms of a comparison stake, Prusa is probably the easiest to compare. That's why everything's compared against a Prusa, right? You're comparing Ender against a Prusa, you're comparing this against a Prusa because of how the whole point is that it is consistent between printer to printer. That's the point. But we're not talking about the printer, we're just talking about the hot end, and it uses a standard V6 hot end. So V6, MK8, one of those, pick one, and then use it.
Right, it isn't, but are we aiming for a standard for big manufacturers or all manufacturers? No, just for, when I say standard, is within manufacturing. Because I understand the idea of a standard that everyone would use, but unfortunately, that usually never really work. We can come up with a standard, but just by principle of not going for the standard of a competitor, other company may want to go for something else for whatever reason. So I would rather put effort on having a good standard ourselves and not really thinking whether it can be used for others, rather than thinking about a standard that everyone could use, and at the end of the day, we will be the only one using it. I mean, there has been a lot of companies that try that, but my suggestion has always been, as long as there is not a third-party company that is taking that job, then nobody is going to do that. So, for example, UL, FDA is a little bit different, but let's say UL is a third-party laboratory that the whole purpose is standardized testing, and all the company have to go to them because they have built a standard. But a company itself, I think it's hard to build a standard. So we just need a third-party company that just raise up and just come up with very good stuff, and we will just go to them. So that
makes the most sense. Take whoever spent the most effort making something, and then as long as it's open source, just take it. That's why everyone's using Marlin for a printer firmware, because it has the most development and it's open source.
When you print your part to test, the configuration needs to be a viable representative, and that also comes down to Prusa for having good configuration out of the box, while an Ender, for example, does not. I mean, for reliability, then yeah, I think it would be good to have a Prusa so that whatever we print should be reliable, right? But configuration out of the box, I think for each testing, we'll have to configure it specifically for that testing anyway. So whether it's Prusa or Ender, we'll have to configure.
That's another thing. So fun fact, depending on which extruder you have, that's going to change your maximum flow. If you have a Creality style, like single gear extruder, you're not going to be able to push nearly as much flow as even something like an Orbiter V2, because it's able to force more filaments in, so your top end flow is better.
But anyway, let's say we have a printer. What do we do with it now?
I don't know. I don't actually print my printers, so.
I mean, like regarding the maximum flow,
right,
or
so
like any information you would like to have.
Standard configuration is it's either 0.4 or 0.6. I still strongly believe that a 0.4 is the best for overall printing. So the standard profile is a V6 hot end or MK8 hot end with a 0.4 nozzle printing at 0.2 layers. And when you define a speed that you're printing at, there's two speeds. There's your infill speed and then there's your outer wall speed. I calibrate my outer walls for 40 millimeters a second, like I explained in the swatch truck. All right, yeah, have a good night. And actually, I'll link that in chat because.
Good Cipher, what would be nice is a super high flow filament so people can print at speed and have a speed filament. How awesome would that be? Well, Good Cipher, that's the thing we are trying to design. What's a high flow filament? Why our Polylight PLA is not high flow, for example? what are the needs? Do you guys need to print at 1000 millibit per second at 190 degree? That's the requirement, or so that's the thing. What's the requirement? Okay, so sorry. Go ahead.
So I linked in chat my Swatch truck, which is based off of Andrew Ellis's extrusion multiplier tuning. So printing off like just a square with a bunch of infill, and then you take the top surface, you find where it looks the best. I determined that 40 millimeters a second is probably about the best outer wall speed in terms of being able to print on all different printers and for quality, etc. 40 seems good. I still print 40 even on my big printer. Now the infill, that's completely different. I print that not based off of speed, but based off of volumetric flow. So printer to printer, my max speed for my infill is based off of the volumetric flow that it can do.
So is there even a point for us to give that data? If anyway, people will have to figure out.
It's not going to be used correctly, because when you give a speed, like I'm printing at 250 millimeters a second, what does that actually mean? Well, it means in the slicer, if you set 250, I believe it'll, if you do percent based, your outer wall speed is only like 20 millimeters a second, but your infill might be 200. So it all depends on the profile. That's one of my biggest gripes, I again and again every day, that speed is not, it's irrelevant. It's really irrelevant in terms of printers. Maybe it's a hot take, but it's all about flow. And you can't tell someone, hey, print your outer walls at 3 millimeters cube flow. Like, you're not going to do that, and slicers aren't built for that yet.
That's CNC. Just pay Stefan at CNC Kitchen to create a standard and get some European filament company to buy in, and you're done. There is none that has trust. It's him. If I really had to choose out of the content creator, I would definitely go for Mirror C, I think. Because Stefan is still oriented to what people want to hear and see, like what's going to connect with people. I'm not saying he's not doing a good job, right? He's actually doing a very good job.
He's a content creator first.
Yeah, he's doing a good job at showing people things that would make sense for them and explaining it very well and in a way that it looks very, very good. But if we're talking about a standard, I would prefer going for someone that would go beyond and then, having that whole understanding. So, and I feel in Mirror C, I mean, Stefan also have that understanding, right? It's just that I don't think it's for the video, but he has that understanding. But Mirror C is really, I don't know. Mirror C is the one that I know that he would really understand the whole thing. I mean, I did have, I think, 2 discussions with him already, and I would trust him to do a standard. I mean, he's thinking of things that we're not even thinking about. And you can see his video. I mean, I don't know. Definitely, I think his channel is less popular than CNC Kitchen, but it's really, the target audience is different. So yeah. I personally would go for Mirror C. Or if you have some other ideas, then I tested some of the high flow filament from other companies and found that standard PLA that I bought from Hobby King in 2017 is actually the one that has the highest extrusion rate. So Sebastian, that's exactly what we're talking about. How do we test that? How do we test the highest extrusion rate? Like if a filament has a lower extrusion rate at 200 degrees than this one, but it has a higher one at 230, like which one?
Okay, so
which one is the highest one? Yeah.
So back to the methodology. So going off of a 40 millimeter second outer wall speed, which I feel is fairly typical for a standard printer, which is what we're talking about. Then you have to worry about the max volumetric, and that's going to be based off of the temperature that you're setting your outer wall to, because you're not changing the temperature when you're printing. So if you calibrate your printer's flow based off of the outer wall volumetric flow, because printing too hot, then your cooler can't keep up and you'll get bad overhangs. So you have to print reasonably. I print around 220 now on most printers for your PLA, and that seems to work pretty good. On printers that don't have good cooling, roughly about like 210. So let's say 215 is your temperature. Now you have to find out how fast you can print infill without skipping. Hard to define because you can actually go a lot further with your speed and then have pretty terrible looking infill. But your maximum, I would call it reasonable infill, where it doesn't skip, where you're not getting holes or gaps. That's what you would define as your max speed. But then I also put my infill at 0.6 or 0.8 millimeters, so it goes a lot slower for infill. I don't print at 0.4 for anything except for the outer walls and top surfaces.
And how about layer addition, for example? Do you take that into account?
Yes, that's what I'm referring to. Is you want your inner stuff to be just as strong as the outside, so it still has to flow evenly. But you're right. If you print faster, then your inner temperature being extruded is going to be less. So I print a little bit warmer, just to make sure that everything flows correctly.
Let me get that link, Joe Velasco. His channel name is Mirror C. Let me drop the link. I mean, if you want highly technical, then
yeah, very technical.
That's the one. There you go. I just shared it in the chat. I just tested with Volcano Hot 10 at 220. It just increased the output 1 meter cube per second until I saw it was extruded to drop 3% in weight for what I expected. Yeah. So, for example, Sebastian, why 220? Why not 230 or 240? You may have
that's not what you're printing the outer walls at. So it doesn't make sense to test a standard, which is something you're not going to typically print for normal printing.
Why you don't print the outer wall at 230?
Because of the stock cooling configurations. A lot of printers have just very basic coolers that don't work well. And when you're going for overhangs, it just doesn't work. So it's a combination of what temperature, the maximum temperature you can go with overhangs and cooling.
But 230, you should have. I mean, I'm usually printing at 230 for everything.
At Ender 3 comes with like a single 4010 fan. That is barely enough for significant overhangs. At least in the stuff I've tested. Well, it depends how fast you go.
It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the speed, but that's always the issue. Like
how fast are you actually printing?
Think about 5 things.
And also, if you're printing your infill faster, then your total minimum layer time is going to be less, or you're finishing faster, so you're not going to be giving enough time to cool down. Right, it's all about layer time. Layer time.
230 with a layer time of how many seconds? I don't remember. I don't know actually. My point is why you didn't use 230, and so Zombie's answer is that if you print at 230, you won't have a good quality, which I don't have that experience, but I guess that depends on the configuration.
Well, what speeds are you printing at? Because if you set your Cura profile to 60 millimeters a second, it prints the walls at 25. That's very slow. But if you manually set each setting, and if you keep in mind minimum layer times, keep them somewhat realistic, then you can go warmer.
Okay, so that's a good idea, NSCHO. Let's go to a page that market a high flow PLA and see how they market it. What do they say?
Yeah, something interesting. All the speed tests that I personally done and stuff that I've seen, Polyterra doesn't really flow great at higher speeds. I don't know what it is. Maybe you have to increase the temperature significantly. But at like standard printing speed or printing temps, it doesn't flow well, even though it's high flow, which is interesting.
Okay, so PLA plus U diamond, nano diamond, enhanced 3D filament, blah, 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 is high performance diamond, enhanced 3D filament. It contains functionalized nano diamond particles, spherical, and act as a lubricant in the filament extrusion, causing no increase in other wear. Really? How can diamond filled PLA not affect the nozzle wear? The super
Maybe they're small enough. It's like small particles.
Okay. I think that's great. They write this at the beginning because it's super counterintuitive. As soon as I see this, the first thing I thought about is, the breast nozzle is going to suffer. But okay, good that it doesn't affect. The enhanced thermal conductivity of the materials enable print up to 500 millimeters per second. Okay, so for me, this doesn't mean anything, right? Like, what is there anything you cannot print at 500 millimeters per second if you don't put if you put the temperature with it? The diamond particle also reinforced the polymer structure, improving the stiffness, strength, adhesion, blah, blah, blah. The filament is suitable for consumer grade, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the only thing they say is the materials enable printing speed up to 500 millimeters per second. So that's how they define high flow or high speed or whatever.
Yeah, that doesn't, there's no standard behind that because what line width are you printing at? And like, what's your volumetric flow? That's, yeah, where's the TDS on that?
Yeah, I'm checking. So 500 gram spool, biodegradable. Yeah, be careful with that. Theoretically, in the US, I don't know if they are in the US.
Not the US
number. But in the US, you cannot use this anymore.
Well, it's clearly not in the
according to the guidelines.
They're in
and not in Europe, so they have to be outside of Europe or the US. But anyway, we've found stiff heat, blah, 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 high strength, blah, blah, blah. So let's go and check the blah, blah, printing speed, bed temperature, stiffness. Okay, so that's their TDS. Heat deflection temperature, 95, strength, blah, 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 stiffness. Yeah, okay, there's nothing. So
yeah,
how does this? Yeah, you get what I mean? Like what? How do you define whether it's yeah?
So Vez from VZBot, he recently, well, a little while ago, did a 2,000 millimeter second print test. But in order to do that, he had to decrease his layer lines like microscopic. I don't even know what it was, but it was small. Plus the line width has to be very small. So I can print at those speeds too and get functional parts, but it's not practical in a daily application. So when you're defining print speeds, it should be based off of probably the most typically used 0.4 millimeters, 0.2 layer heights. What do you think, Chat?
For detective, yes, it adds up, right? The nylon diamond and then the fact that it's thermal conductive. I mean, it makes sense. And to be honest, this is usually enough to sell it, but not for Printbusters, right? If anyone from Printbusters arrive in front of that, then I think it's, there's no information at all. Like what's 500 millimeters per second, to be honest? That's nothing, right? We don't know, like, printing setting. Nozzle temperature, 220 or 250, depending on speed. I mean, I'm pretty sure our Polylight PLA can also print at that speed at 250, right?
I have to up it to like 280 to do speed bench sheets with PLA.
At 0.2 layer height or 0.006 layer height?
0.25, because that's the speed benchy rules.
Printing speed 50 to 500. Bed temperature 0 to 50.
Yeah. So that's
like, for example, at this point, is that even necessary to give a range? Like from 50 to 500? What? Yeah, does that mean if you give this, the impression it gives me is you cannot print at 40 millimeters per second, and you cannot print at 510 because it's so high that it seems that you really have to be within that. But that's not true, right? I'm pretty sure you can print at 20 millimeters per second. It shouldn't be an issue. Will you really print your first layer at 50 millimeters per second? Most likely not, right? You will most likely print below that.
Yeah.
So
actually, that's for high flow. That's pretty typical.
So anyway, that just highlights even more how hard it is to communicate about materials. I mean, I'm not criticizing at all this page, right? We have exactly the same issue. I mean, we go here, and then we go in our printing setting, like printing temperature 190 to 220. And you can definitely go higher, right? And actually you can also go lower.
Right, but these you're being conservative. That's the difference. Is that you're being a lot more conservative than the other brand was saying. They're being extravagant with their numbers, and then this is very conservative. That's the main difference.
I printed Polylight PLA at 400 millimeters per second for the first layer. I was shocked when it worked great. For the first layer, okay.
What about the next layer?
That's good to know. That's good to know. But you see, for example, you just said you printed Polylight PLA at 400 millimeters per second, but we don't have diamond inside, right? So they should market it in a way that they perform better than the regular PLA, because I'm pretty sure it should perform better because of whatever technology they have. So they should find a way to communicate that, right? More than just say, okay, you can print up to 500 millimeters per second.
I want to see a video of it printing. That's what I want. If you're going to advertise a speed print, you better say figure out which printer it can print on. If you have to print it on like a ultra high flow, ultra high speed cross gantry printer, then
yeah, no, that's right. And even, I mean, at this point, how many percentage or how many people has a printer that can reach 500 millimeters per second? You know, like it's not much, right? Hi, Maker Viking. No diamond. My wife would take my PLA. Well, maybe the diamond nozzle would be something she would be more attractive with because it's a bigger one. Darren, mine under extrude. If I tried and push more than 50 millimeter cube per second at 220, so I use speeds and feeds that keep the flow under that. At 220, yeah. So, Darren, for example, what happens if you go up to 230? Do you have the cooling issue at 230? I think I saw this filament on one video, but I don't remember which one. Okay. I think I heard about that filament before. I don't know what's their portfolio, if it's only
the one filament. That's all I think.
Maybe they only do one filament. I don't know.
What's the use case for this though? Like, I'm curious.
Oh yeah, they only have this one. That's their main. That's their main focus, and it really look like
you just buy them out, and now you'll have your own diamond filament.
We will just acquire carbodion.
Yeah.
Metal plating, thermal conductive thermoplastic, wear resistant, low friction coatings, blah blah.
Okay.
E-diamond carbodion portfolio of nano diamond materials. Oh, they have a portfolio, but a portfolio of one apparently. I cannot see the
chat. What other high flow filaments are there? The Sun. I think eSun has a high flow.
eSun has a high flow.
I think they have. Yeah, they were advertising that on one of their one of the things where they had like the bamboo and like this is like the best for bamboo because it's the high flow. I'm pretty sure they had that marketing.
Okay, let's see how they market their high flow then. You know what? I have a use case for that. One of my project has a 2.1 gigahertz processor in it and some wireless component, thermally conductive filament would let it transfer heat through the filament case, and diamond is not electrically conductive and would not block RF transmission. Yeah, that's actually a good use case. Okay, so they have a PLA HF here on a carbon spool. Congratulations, Easton. I think that's a very good move. By balancing the melt flow index and melt temperature, the ePLACF can flow smoothly in molten state and cool fast during printing. In this way, it can achieve smooth printing without clogging and fast cooling without deformation during high speed.
I found that for speed printing, benchies, PLA printed better than like ABS or ASA because it cools quicker.
Compared with normal materials, the printing speed is faster, the quality of the surface of printing object is higher, and the detail performance is better. The product has good adaptability. By adjusting the materials, the high-speed printing reduces the dependence on the cooling power of the printer and improves the printing performance. This material can be used in concept models and rapid prototyping. Selling points: smooth flow without blocking, faster cooling and forming, more suitable for high-speed printing. review more about blah blah blah. Yeah, let's check the video.
Oh, yeah, I gotta print that Benchy dry dock.
Oh, sorry. If it's too loud, let me know. I don't know how to.
I can't hear anything. I can't see anything there.
You can't hear anything?
Well, it's buffering.
Oh, yeah. Maybe here. What's the...
hit the menu button. Oh, Ginger, jeez. Oh my gosh, he's like doing parkour and jumping at me.
Yeah. Anyway, we want video.
Are those like Lego bricks? What?
Printed, apparently. Print model.
Is that really their advertising? Is building blocks? Okay.
Okay. Related wait, what's it? No. Oh, here. Printing film, blah, blah, blah. HDT 53 degree, melt flow index. Okay. Melt flow index, gram per 10 minutes, 5.2.
At 190.
190 at 216. Okay. Melt index. Okay, so that's our different melt index, and let's go for our PLA. Okay, so we are at 210 at 216, so we are 20 degree more. 20 degree more, and they are at 190, and they are at 5.2, and well, for 20, well, 5.2 would be the lowest one in that chart, but again, they are 20 degree less.
Yeah.
So,
and that is pretty significant in terms of flow.
Yeah.
I mean, take Polyterra. I think even at the lower temp, Polyterra would perform better.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Doesn't seem very high.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't look very high, but there might be some other stuff playing.
Does it scale better? I don't know how to explain that, but like as you print hotter, maybe it scales better. Like it stays higher flow as it scales up. Like it's an exponential. I don't know anything about like how you test melt index, but
yeah, I'm not too sure either.
I was under the impression that Polymaker was like pretty standard flow in terms of like standard like PLA flow.
Well, the Polylite PLA and the Polyterra formula, they are very different. Like the Polyterra formula is higher melt index, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not super impressed by that 5.2, even if I know it's at 190. I don't know. It just feels strange. Elongation at break, isod impact strength. Yeah, they don't have. What's their printing?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for example, this I don't really like it. The fact that they don't put their printing setting.
Yeah, you're not gonna see that.
Especially for I mean, you must have at least. I mean, even if we just talked about it's hard to do a range, but at least you know, having maybe it's in the video that we cannot watch for some reason. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pity that we don't have at least like, are we talking about 190 to 220 like regular, or are we talking about 200? Oh, nice carbon spool. Very nice. I'm happy more and more printer manufacturer goes to carbon spool. Sunlu gives a melt index of 8 to 12 grams per 10 minutes, but no temperature for the Meta PLA, which is also supposed to be HF. Oh, okay. So you said they don't give their method? Yeah, it would be great if more filament company would. Whoa, that's a very tight tolerance. 0.02. Blah blah. Does anyone has a Sunlu filament? Is that within that tolerance? would be interesting to.
That's the advertised for most brands.
Really? I thought it
feel
was
like.
0.03 and 4, like between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
3 and 5.
I think, well, advertised versus actual, I don't know if there's... We talked about that like a long time ago, is you guys could probably get away with tighter tolerances, right? But it depends on how you apply that.
We actually change our marketing for Polylight PLA. Now for Polylight PLA, we say that we can guarantee that 88% of the spool is within 0.02.
Okay.
But it can happen that there is 0.03, like, batch or something. So that's why we don't put it. But like we discussed last time, it's really depend on what the company put its threshold. Because I believe we all have the same tolerance, to be honest. We all use the same machine. Just the process is different, but I think we all have the same tolerance, but we just market it differently.
Yeah. All right, chat. Who's awesome? Is anyone awesome?
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what's awesome. This color-changing PLA. This stuff is cool. I like to watch it as it cools when it comes off. I did one of the poly pearl towers.
Actually, it's interesting. I think this page is new.
Awesome.
Small tolerance. The tolerance is precisely controlled within 0.02. The diameter of the film is stable, and tolerance is small, ensure printing success. High resilience and won't crack easily. Low shrinkage, strong printability, high rigidity. High resilience and high rigidity. Okay, that's hard to do. That's our PLA Pro basically.
Yeah.
Good stability for printing work. High compatibility and adaptability. Blah, blah, blah. Renewable material, more eco-friendly. Okay, so let's polylactic acid. Yeah, that's the one I don't like it. This, to be honest, I don't like it. Natural degradation, when you're talking about PLA like this, that's really, really wrong in my opinion. That's not even, I don't like it. That's wrong in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like saying that some foam will degrade quicker in landfill. Only 1,000 years instead of 10,000 years.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I really don't like to speak bad about other brand because that's not my goal. But when I see that's wrong for me, and I don't do that often. But believe me, that's not good because we may know what's the truth, right? But think about mainstream people. Think about people that are so happy to print a material that they can throw away and it will just degrade. So many people think that, and they go. They just feed that wrong thinking, and I don't like that. Selection of renewable, imported, high-quality raw materials, environmentally friendly, non-toxic, non-irritating odor, natural degradation, more eco-friendly. Yeah, that last, I would have removed that last one. Okay, nice. Oh, is that this designer had the issue with bamboo? Is this the designer for that? Right?
Is that the wolf?
I think it's this one. That had the issue. I'm not sure if Sunlu has asked, but I know the designer that designed this QB, and I know the designer that designed this wolf.
All right. If you missed it, it is probably time for the giveaway.
Oh yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's continue this page after. So 78 people watching, 71. So we still have 7 people. Don't forget to be awesome in the chat. They came into agreement with Bamboo. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if they came into an agreement with Sunlu as well. One of the YouTubers did test with PLA in the house outside of his porch and buried in mulch for 2 years each. Only the mulch buried plastic showed any difference, and it only lost like 5% of its durability. Yeah, Valander, I think I saw that video. I called Polyterra the right name for once. Yeah, I was wondering why you call that Terra Poly. Anyway, is my... It's not working, or everybody has entered already? Maybe everybody has entered.
I already asked if people are awesome.
Okay, cool. So
awesome people in chat.
Yeah, Jerry, you're here. Hopefully you're gonna win again. Let's try. Let's try Jerry. I cheer for you. And the winner is. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark H in.
Oh, congrats, Mark.
I guess NC, North Carolina. I hope I missed it because it didn't count me. Maybe because it counted you before. Hey, congratulations, Mark H from NC, which I suppose is North Carolina. No in-chat reply. No. It's very old-fashioned. It just show on screen. Yeah, you are not in a very advanced stream here. You should go to a loyal
the
stream.
most advanced filament, the most moderate stream.
It's a very old-fashioned. I didn't do it before. I didn't know there was a giveaway. It's written at the bottom.
It's been going on for many hours. I kind of just tuned it out, but
yeah, Valander, it's written at the bottom. I don't. Maybe your screen is cropped, but it's supposed to be written at the bottom. So Mark H, bank. I don't know, from Twitch. Yeah. So bank contact. Yeah, there you go. Congratulations, Mark H. And let's go back because I'm really interested. Actually, I was interested in that filament before, but remember, you're very welcome, Mark H. Thank you for joining the stream. I was interested in that filament last time, but their marketing was that didn't have much content, but there is much more now. Net weight 1 kg per roll. Remember the I tweeted something because a lot of people ask us, like, is your 1 kg spool 1 kg of filament or together with the spool 1 kg? And I was like, why do they ask this? Like, is there any filament manufacturers that would sell 1 kg spool, which means 800 gram of material and 200 gram of spools? I hope nobody is doing that. But anyway, they precise net weight 1 kg roll. Wire diameter 1.75, gross weight, length, blah blah, accuracy, blah blah. Bottom plate temperature, glue needs to be applied when it's not heated, and glue is not required when it's heated from 50 to 65. Okay, melt index 8 to 12 gram per 10 minutes. Melting point, okay, 1.24. Heat distortion temperature 55. Okay, water absorption. Oh, nice. They do have good information. With or without bubble. That's interesting. Is the filament coming with or without bubble? 100% zero bubble. I mean that's. I mean, is there any manufacturer that would say with or without bubble? Well, we have like a 10% bubble rate in our filament. Did I just lost a zombie or it's me?
Oh, it's just me.
Oh, you were frozen, or how can you stay still like this?
Frozen thought.
0% all bubble. Yeah, that's funny that they put this. That's the first time I see this this in a technical data sheet. With or without bubble, 100% zero bubble. I measured the meta PLA with the micrometer now. It seems to be kind of consistent. 0.02 to 0.03, so it would be more off by 0.03 than 0.02, but I'm not sure if filament can be measured this way. Okay, the micrometer also depends on how much tension is used. Okay, yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe use exactly the same way on the polymeter spool, and maybe check if maybe I'm shooting in my, how do you say? If you translate in French, we're saying I'm shooting in my own feet, which means
yeah, shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, shoot yourself in your foot. What company we've come out with filament with extra bubble?
Anyone with PETG?
I have in the technical data sheet of our lightweight PLA with or without bubble. 100% bubble. 100% bubble in our lightweight PLA.
It's pretty intense.
Aereo is a chocolate bar in the UK that is all about bubbles in it. Yeah. So also our lightweight PLA, right?
So there's gonna be a cocoa press with chocolate with bubbles in it.
Yeah, could be like a foaming chocolate. Oh, we need a warp-free chocolate or a nano-reinforced
chocolate warp. Wait. Does printed chocolate warp?
Let's think about it.
You know what? That'd be a great way to test your theory. If another material printed in the same technology warps under the same conditions.
Yeah, but is chocolate a polymer? I guess yes, maybe because it's sugar.
Is
Can
it?
it is well, I guess it should be, right? Is chocolate polymer? Chocolate is not a polymer.
Okay.
So okay. I thought it was. Chocolate has been known for carbohydrate. It is proteins, right? Super.
Right. All right. It has molecules that are linked together.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's not go into that topic.
And no warping. It is Printbusters, but no warping.
Yeah, no warping. But I guess it does warp. I will get that.
That's a nice
chocolate. Does chocolate has a coefficient of thermal expansion?
Does it?
Does it have? Because maybe it can still have a thermal.
I planted a seed in his head. I planted it. It's
well. Let me
crawling.
just check. I have to know. Chocolate thermal. Chocolate coefficient of thermal expansion.
Does everything have a coefficient of thermal expansion?
Based on the dynamic response due to temperature modulation, the complex thermal expansion coefficient is obtained by merging. So I should have. I think it has, but it also crystallizes. It's a semi-crystalline filament chocolate. The variation of the coefficient of thermal expansion. Okay, so it does have a coefficient of thermal expansion, but I don't think it warp. I don't think.
It? We'll test it.
We'll have to ask Ellie. We'll have to ask Ellie.
Yeah.
If she prints a big cube, will it warp or not? Yeah, exactly. Protein are long chain molecules, right? Huh. Anyway, I will ask her at Rocky Murph. Do you have the same stringing, ghosting, all of this problem? Like what problem are
well, yes. Actually,
chocolate?
You should see the side topic, but you should see the nozzle, the retraction. It's like it extrudes like this much, and it retracts, and it just like goes way back in. It like pulls itself in. It's very cool.
Oh, like it's sucking out the.
Yeah.
Tempering chocolate can be a problem. All things have expansion and shrinking moment. I guess so. Chocolate has the highest taste coefficient. If you bake it in a long flat pan, it curls up on the end as it cools. If it cools too fast, interesting. Are we talking about cake warping at this moment? Metamaterials can have negative CTA. Okay.
I'll have to get a chocolate printer now.
Anyway, I think
completely for the theory of Printbusters, I need a chocolate printer.
just for that.
Yes.
Well, I need to ship you the bamboo first, and let's see what.
I'll put a chocolate extruder on that.
Okay. Awesome. I think we're gonna stop there. I think there is way more to talk about on the TDS, but we can just go back to it in the next Printbusters. For example, I would like to explain to you the testing method. There is some testing method I won't be able to show on stream, but I can talk with R&D and see what's showable. And I want to show you our paper that goes through that. Whatever is possible to share, I will try to share that. Have a good night, Jerry. Okay, so can you elaborate more on high temperature filament? What would you like to know, Jose, on high temperature filament? And at the same time, I'm going to check if there is anyone to rate on YouTube. Still nobody. Why nobody?
Yeah. No one streams anymore.
Okay, then let's go back.
It's a bad time of day for that. Like, actually, I could theoretically be streaming on YouTube this time of day.
Next time, check the Bamboo Lab PLA TDS for melt index. What it is? Or what is it? If you know the answer.
That's a good question.
Jose, yes. Jose, my question is, what do you want to know about high temperature filament? I'm making injection molds and vacuum forming mold. Okay. A lot of our users are using our Polymax PC for that. and some are using on island also. So yeah, if that's what you wanted to know. By the way, if you go on our Discord, Matt from Australia, Matt 3DPS, is actually selling also vacuum form stuff. So he has experience with that and our materials if you need. Nick, I heard you did a video a while back that toured the production line. Is that posted online? I removed it. Actually, in that video, there is a couple of confidential stuff which I missed, and so I just removed it. Instead of editing it, I just removed everything. I will try to do another tour soon. Okay, cool. So, who do we have? Babe Ross, Days, Unfriend. Oh, Island Vibing. Yeah, let's go do that. That was the one that was introduced to 3D printing, right?
I need a vacuum former. What am I gonna use a vacuum former for? Like, I don't do cosplay stuff.
For chocolate.
For chocolate? No, if I'm gonna print chocolate.
Like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, also.
Yeah, I'd rather just print it.
Printed Vision, is he live or he's printing?
Oh, hey, Silverback, welcome.
Welcome in. Where do you guys want to go after this stream?
Before shout out to Silverback, who recently got back into 3D printing and has a KP 3S Pro and pretty nice chill stream. But in terms of printing now,
oh, this one, 3D printer deck. Did you see his new setup?
I have not.
The all the LED stuff. I talked with him, I think 2 weeks ago, and his business is actually going pretty well. He's doing a sign and stuff. And let me confirm. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You can go and check that. Oh, wait. 3D. Is 3D printer deck the story with MakerDeck? Is it this guy?
Yeah, they were like originally on MakerDeck, and then they decided it wasn't for them.
Yeah, I mean, just leave that apart and just enjoy the other part of the 3D printer.
The aesthetic is very nice.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Exactly this. Let me quickly check. This. Look at this. How cool is that? Anyway, if you want to see more, then stay with me. And sorry if some can not go there or for some reason, but just just enjoy the idea of the business idea that implements 3D printing, and it's really nice. I mean, outside of some other stuff, it's nice in that perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
Kevin, awkward. Yeah, sorry, I just remember that afterwards. A full walking tour on the production line where you could edit confidential and more closely highlight the tool would be awesome. Yeah, I will. I mean, we have so many white label and brands and stuff that is hard to do that. But I will try my best. So, okay, guys, enjoy your time in discovering the 3D printer deck setup, and I will talk to you next week in review the reviews. Thanks again, Zombie, for your help.
Yeah, thank you.
See you, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.